chat. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the HerStory Online Summit, Day 3. This is Gertrude Matcha here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia, and I am in good company this morning. Good morning, ladies. Introduce yourselves. Tell everybody where you are.
Hello,
Renee.
everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Where I am, it's evening. My name is Ruth Dengwani. I am in Harare in Zimbabwe.
Hi, ladies.
Renee, introduce yourself in Elof.
Well, hello. Look, hello, everybody. Again, welcome to day 3 of this summit. If you've missed the first 2 days, you guys have missed a treat. So you all make sure you lock in for the rest of the week. I am Renee. I am from the United States. I hail from the great city of Chicago, Illinois. I am an author, speaker, and influencer. I have a non-for-profit organization. I also have a coaching program. That's me.
Okay.
Hi, Elif. Welcome.
Elif, introduce yourself. Tell everybody where you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, everyone. This is Elif. I am in the UK, Brighton. I'm a fashion designer, business coach, and an advocate for women empowerment. So good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for showing up so early. This is awesome. So I'm just trying to get our chairperson online. Miriam is not seeing the 22nd, Ruth. We have Mana joining us as well. Hello. Ruth, watch the back end. Good evening.
Is it good evening where Mana is? Good morning. Is it not morning for you, Mana?
I know. I just thought because Elif, she's from UK, so I just said good evening for Elif. Good morning for me. I'm in Adelaide, Australia.
Wonderful to see you.
Thank you, Gertrude. Nice to be here.
We're just trying to get our chairperson on. So you guys chat, catch up. Let me sort her out quickly. I'll have to call her.
All right, no problem. Thank you. So, hi, Renee.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. Where are you?
I'm in Illinois. I'm in the States.
All right. So we have 4 countries here. No, 5 countries here. We have a UK, Australia, New Zealand, Zimbabwe. Ruth?
Yes, Zimbabwe.
Yeah. And Illinois.
Scroll down. It's there. The 22nd is there. Just scroll down.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like all the continents are represented.
Yeah, you got the 3rd of November.
So, hi, Elf.
Hi, Mana. Hi. I literally just put my son to sleep. I'm working mom on a mission. Never gives up, never rests. Keep on going.
It's 8 p.m. where you are, Elif?
I am in the UK, Brighton, and it's 8 o'clock in the evening now. I don't think my son is asleep, so my husband ran up the stairs.
Yeah.
What time does he normally sleep?
Between 7 and 8, but today he seems to have a bit of a cough. You know, the kids always have.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep himself awake. He always has an excuse not to go to sleep, but hey ho. How about you, ladies? Tell me about you.
Yeah, so I am in Africa and it's summer for us, so it's very hot during the day and the evenings are a bit cooler in the mornings. And yeah, our COVID cases, we're still struggling with the numbers.
Yeah, it seems to be, in Europe seems to be going up too, it seems like.
Yeah.
All
Hi,
right,
Marianne. Welcome back.
Hi, Marianne.
Good morning, everybody.
So we're all going to exit the studio. Mariam, you're going to launch the day for us.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for taking the leadership role for today.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Hi, Mana.
Supporting you, with you. introduce yourselves, tell everybody where you are, what inspired you to take a leadership role for HerStory, what experience have you had so far, and then we will introduce our first speaker.
Beautiful. Sounds great. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to HerStory Global World Summit. Monday morning here in Sydney, Australia. Welcome to everybody that is watching from around the world, whether it's live or on the replay. Great to have you all here. We've got a brilliant lineup of women that are speaking today, and we've got some really valuable content for you that we can all learn from. And our intention today is that as we have this opportunity to share these stories, that you are inspired. Maybe you see little nuggets of your own lives in these stories, and perhaps there's some content, there's some information, there's a way out that you might recognize for yourself, and that we're all in this together. And so have a great morning here with us all today. And my name is Marion Bova. I've been here with HerStory Circle pretty much since the beginning of the year, and I've watched Gertrude with such passion, and Ruth and the team really want to get this out in a bigger way, so that we can serve more people. And I certainly have my interview here to be doing it on the HerStory Circle, and I just see the vision of this really going out to serve the world in such a beautiful way. So with that, good morning, Gertrude.
You. Oh, absolutely wonderful. So we've got Elof's bio there in the chat. I don't know if you can see it. You could introduce her. She's going to do a live presentation, not a video. She's not a stranger to our stage. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You can read her bio, Mariam, and then Elof can...
Sure, beautiful. Good morning, Elif.
Good morning to you. I mean, I'm at 8 o'clock in the UK now.
UK. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a reasonable time. Let me introduce you. Elif, you have a first degree connection. You are on a mission to help women reclaim their confidence through the power of fashion. You talk about fashion, business, confidence. You're a fashion designer, and enjoy leadership coaching. And that's what we've got here. So looking forward to hearing you talk. If you can let us know, sounds like you're from the UK, and we'd love to hear from you and take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's really good to be here and being live on such a great platform. It's a real great honor. We all have a story, and having a story means that you've got to share it, because you don't know who you're going to inspire, and let them take that first step towards their dream. And I always believe that stories are so powerful when it's shared. It can open doors, and it can become someone's survival guide at times. For me, when I started, it was so I always listen to other people's stories as a new entrepreneur, and it has always given me so much courage hearing other people's stories. So being here on the first night, it is such an honor. My story in entrepreneurial journey has started here in the UK. I'm originally from Turkey, and I've lived here for 14 years now. And it has been a real journey so far. So when I got here, I remember the first day, it was quite nerve-wracking, fearful day for me. But I was very proud that I managed to achieve the first step of getting out of my country to arrive somewhere that I didn't know anyone. I couldn't speak the language. I mean, I would have loved to be able to speak like this right now that I speak. back then. And what happened is I came here as an au pair, and my skill of sewing has been since I was a little girl, because when I was a little girl, my mom was a dressmaker, and she used to make our clothes, and I wasn't allowed to wear everything I wanted to wear. And so I used to make clothes for myself from the offcuts fabric that my mum would left for me to make my dolls' clothes, and make clothes for my little dolls. The clothes were usually the clothes that I wasn't allowed to wear. So, but I never knew one day I will turn that childhood dream of becoming a global fashion brand in reality. You know, it was a dream. That dream has come true right now. 14 years on after being in the UK, now turned that into a global fashion brand. There was a lot of struggles, of course. There was a lot of up and downs, letdowns, backstabbings, and disappointments. But the one thing kept me going was that self-belief. And what kept me going was that I had a mission, and my mission was to be able to, firstly, so I had lots of missions. What happens is when you start a journey, you don't know, especially in the entrepreneurial world. You just start and you do something, and then you just get to a certain point, and then you move to the next level. I'm keep going in and out on my screen, but I don't know if everybody has got any issue with the connection.
No, we can see you.
Yeah, is it all
We
clear?
can see you. You're fine.
Okay, good.
I'll jump in if anything goes wrong, okay?
Great, thank you.
All right.
Where was I? So yes, yeah, it just goes. So it goes. So my alteration business has started about 2 years after I arrived here as a mobile alteration service, and what I wanted to do first was to actually learn the language, and I thought the only thing I could do with not speaking well enough English, I can just do sewing, because when you sew, people don't really need you to write an essay about what you're going to do for them. You can just alter their trousers. But my dream was to be a fashion designer, but not to be here, not to be a fashion designer here. It kind of opportunity came up. So in life, opportunities are always there, like problems. So what happened is I continuously seen the opportunities and I took them. And I always thought to myself, what can go wrong? I'll just say yes and I'll learn. And I did. So I slowly built my confidence. I built my business, and I built a community, which is what Get Rude is doing here. But she's building a global community where we can all connect to each other and where we can all hear each other's stories. By the reason I created community, because I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a family here. I didn't have friends. The oldest person I know in this country is as old as the host family that I lived with, the taxi driver. So that was my life, and so I built a community. I organized events. I organized fashion shows. I organized lunches and dinners. The idea behind it was to build a community, build relationships with people, because when you connect with people, when you share moments other than the business, you create that sense of friendship, sisterhood, a tribe, and that gives you feeling of belonging. And when you belong to somewhere, you feel more grounded, and that feeling of having your roots, it kind of lets you grow then the stronger your community, this initial community is, it gives you so much more confidence, and with that confidence you continue growing. Thanks to, even though it had a lot of back falls and bad sides of COVID for globally, personally I've also had people in my life who has badly affected with COVID, but COVID has also really gave me the opportunity to give myself a chance to see things out the box and be able to do what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't even think of doing these. So it has been a great journey to build my community now globally with a bigger mission to actually help women in business, women at home, women in anywhere in the world, in any part of their life, to actually give them that self-confidence to do whatever they want to do. By sharing my story of this young immigrant girl lives her home with less than £300 in her pocket and makes herself a life, and turns her childhood dream into a business that pays her a great lifestyle and turns into a global fashion brand. Now go to New York Fashion Week in February to showcase my collection, which is again a designer's dream. And I did it all because I believed in myself. I suppose it's the power of perseverance and the power of community, the power of women. Being woman, I think that's my biggest power. And yeah, so this has been my journey so far, and now it's such a good position to be now, to be part of HerStory circle and be with group of women who is also on a mission to help other women to do the same and give them that confidence. What I can just say, don't wait for somebody else to make decisions for you, because if you don't make a decision for yourself, if you don't make a choice for yourself, somebody else is making it for you, and that may not be what you really want. It may not be what your dream is. So just be bold, go all in, and ask for help. Don't be shy. Don't be arrogant. Just ask for help, because asking for help will only open you doors, and it doesn't matter what people think of you. Don't even think of what people think of you, because it's none of your business. Your business is to thrive with the gift that you're being given, to share it with others, and let them enjoy that gift of yours to be a better version of themselves. So as a fashion designer, I love creating clothes for women all over the world. I love helping women in fashion business to start up their businesses and scale their businesses, because it gives me so much pleasure and so much satisfaction that I can actually make a difference in someone's life. And I love building my team, which then also gives me the opportunity to give jobs to those people around me, to let their dream come through. So wanting more and wanting to get big is great, because that means you're actually helping more people with your passion. So I think that's all I've got to say for this evening.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing, Elif. As I was listening to you talk, I think, your migrant story of moving countries, that you just had that seed in you that just was never, ever, ever going to burn out, that desire to create the fashion, to help in that way, that's your gift to the world. And no matter where you were going to travel, you were the one that was able to bring that to life, and clearly expanded way past the UK, as you said, and able to share that globally. And to think that you're in Fashion Week because of that seed that you just wouldn't let just peter out because of your circumstances.
I think I'm just not a quitter, am I? I feel like I'm not a quitter. I don't sing, I swim.
You do, and exponentially, and clearly as you're talking, there's so much more ahead in your business, and to think, I listen to you speak and I just look at how passionate you are and authentic you are. And I imagine it's a pretty challenging industry to be in, but
It's
you're
very
saying
capricious for sure.
it speaks very loudly that you're sticking very much to your core values, and that emulates. So really appreciate you sharing. And I'm sure that there are many people that your story is going to resonate with. So many people changing countries. How am I going to do this without family support, etc.? So really appreciate you being here today and sharing that. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what's happening on the in Fashion Week.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I think what people need to really realize that you are your biggest source of inspiration. So if there is any time that you lose your hope, just go back to yourself and go back to 3 years before of you and how much you've come, how far you've come. That will give you enough inspiration. You don't need to read another book. You don't need to watch another YouTube video. You don't need to really do any of it. You need to just look into yourself, because that leader that you need to admire is within you, and just let it unleash.
Beautiful.
I have a question for you. So we'll go around the room, Mariam, and everybody can comment, question. My biggest question for you is, how have you coped with COVID? So you have a brick and mortar store. People are coming into your business.
Yes.
What have you done to survive this time, and how have you kept afloat?
Okay, so what I've done is, first of all, I was terrified. First 2 weeks of the lockdown, it was quite terrifying, even though I wanted to believe that it would be well over by 3 months and I would be back into it. But overnight, I decided to go on a huge discount, well under my cost price, to clear my collection that was already in my store. And that really gave me good cash flow. And then I continued offering my services online, and I kept myself visible. I kept showing up. I kept posting on social media. I turned up online, live each and every day, with no, even though I felt I really don't want to do this. And then just wiped my tears back and just stood there to say, hi everyone, how is everybody doing today? And I just encourage everyone to dress up every day to cheer up. And we created this hashtag. So basically, I just continued doing as everything was normal. And I think my energy continued. What had happened at this time, that it gave me the opportunity to turn my business, my brand, online more. And then I continued selling, but I decided to go wholesale and approach to other boutique owners, other store owners, to sell my products. So because I created things that they may like, and I put my orders to minimal, as little as 3 pieces, even if they were buying as wholesale, which
Yes.
encouraged them to buy, because I knew I was on this. I wasn't maybe on the same boat, but I was in the same what's the word I'm looking for? Same weather, we were all in the same sea, we were in the same oceans, struggling
Yeah.
through
Through COVID.
the COVID. So I knew what they were going through, and I needed to move the stock. Instead of being minimum this amount of spending, I just said there is no minimum. As long as you pay for your postage, you can even order as little as 1 piece out of collection, which made me build connections, trust, and that built my business. And now I have got stockists around in States, in Europe, in
It's just
everywhere.
incredible.
Wow.
I would never have done that. I would have
That's
never
a
have done
beautiful
that if it wasn't
strategy.
for COVID.
But that's what happens when your back is against the wall and you have to be creative and stay in business at a time like this. So I know that you have closed your shop and you're going online now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, smart move. Real
Mm,
smart move.
wow.
Mariam, you can facilitate and get the others to comment. If anybody wants to say anything, please indicate and Mariam will call on you.
Who's got
Hi,
a note?
Ruth.
Ruth, love to hear from you.
Hi, Elif.
Hi.
Beautiful, beautiful story, and it's your childhood dream. You know, you this is you. You're just living your childhood, and it's amazing because I
It
know that
makes me so.
when we get to a certain age, we stop dreaming and we forget that the little girls' dream or the little boys' dreams that we had. But you
That's right.
became what you were desiring when you were young, and well done.
Thank
Please
you.
just share with us your contacts, your pages, your social
Of
media pages,
course.
so that we can follow and be part of your community. Well done on the turnaround, and all the best.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thank you, Ruth. Renee, anything you'd like to add in here?
Sure. Just want to say congratulations on, for lack of better words, picking up your bootstraps and making sure that you moved forward and didn't get in a place called stuck. A lot of people in COVID allowed COVID to shut them down, but I really appreciate and admire your stick to itiveness. I make up words. Your stick to itiveness and the fact being that you allow your dream, something that you dreamed as a child, you allowed it to take fruition as an adult. A lot of us, we have childlike imaginations and we think we're youth, but however, the kicks and blows of life will kind of deter us from what we originally wanted to do. So I applaud you and commend you for sticking with what you thought of as a child and just walked it out. So congratulations.
Mm,
Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Well said, Renee. Well said. Yeah. Yeah. Manna, anything that you'd like to add in?
Unmute. Unmute yourself.
Sorry. All right. I think your journey has been so amazing. What's really interesting, I would like to know, is how did you how did you cross so many of your mental barriers, like changing countries from Turkey to UK, and like there will be a lot of changes. So what's your secret? Like what kept you going when you're transitioning? It's not just from COVID to online business. You seem to have taken so many leaps of faith. And the way you're speaking now, obviously you must have completely transformed yourself from what you were. Without that, this wouldn't have been possible. So what was your
It's a
secret?
really good question, actually. Thank you for asking that. I would say in I've always I always known what I didn't want.
Mm,
I always knew what I didn't want, and I didn't want the life that I had back at home. And to me, I had to make a choice for myself, and that's what I knew, that I didn't want to live that. So I was ready and prepared to try whatever it took to
Mm,
find what I love. So
Hmm.
I continued following my heart. And what I always tell everyone I meet is follow your heart, trust your intuition, because it never failed me, ever. In every part, when I made business decisions, when I've made friendship decisions, when I made relationship decisions, it's never failed me. So I always believed in myself. I know it sounds very cliche, but when you have got nothing else to lose, you take a
mm,
risk. And for me, I thought, I'm not going back to that. I want to have my financial freedom. And the more confident I found myself, I felt I I have to keep going, because if I did this, I can do more. This is what I meant. You are your biggest inspiration.
Hmm.
yep.
I thought, wow, I mean, look at me now. I'm so proud of me. I love me, that I can actually
Hmm.
speak in the level, and this, that was my biggest obstacle. But I thought everybody in the world managed to learn. I have
Hmm.
been given this brain by God, universe, whatever you believe in. Like everybody, I can do this. I always believe that I can. I always believed in positivity, that if you're positive, anything and everything will come. Adversity, trauma, these are inevitable in our lives. I've been through, when I was an 8-year-old girl, I was molested. I had sexual abuse, but I always believed that I was not the victim. I always believed that I was the one who survived. I always had that survival mode, and I just want to remind people that whatever happened to you or happening to you, it's not forever. If you think of any last pain that you had in your life, whatever that is, even if it's a headache, it's gone. It was there 2 hours ago, but it's gone now. So everything like that, everything goes. I lost my dad 3.5 years ago. It was devastating. That pain in my heart, still there, but it doesn't hurt as much. I live with it. So everything is that way. So if you think I can achieve anything I want, you will. You can. Anything you believe, you can. If you say I can't do it, you're right. If you say I can do it, you are also right.
I'm
Great.
going to share with you a surprise. So, Elif is partnering with HerStory, and we're going to have our first in-person UK event with her help. I'm going to show you guys the venue. This is where we had our first HerStory UK Summit in 2019. Was it February, Ruth? That was in February 2019.
19, yes.
So this is where we will be.
Oh, wow. A castle.
It will be in
We're
October.
going to be the queens.
Put me there. Spectacular.
So
I
beautiful.
cannot wait.
The vision for HerStory is to give you ladies experiences. We're going to be choosing venues that are unusual, where you can get away for a weekend. You'll be immersed in an environment with inspiring speakers. Describe the last event you had, which is what inspired me to invite you to co-partner with us.
Well, this is going to be a space for every single one of you to come in and unleash your fullest potential. You will, because you'll be surrounded by women who are also on a mission, who are ready to up-level themselves. This will be a space where you will be inspired by the speakers, like Gertrude says. It will be a space where you will educate yourself wherever you think that you need strengthening, because we believe there is never an excuse, because Gertrude is on a mission to equip us all with everything that we need to make us success, and we will create this platform. There will be rooms, won't there, Gertrude, where you will be
So there's multiple rooms in this venue. And the vision is to have a theme. And I'm thinking a Gatsby 1930s theme dress. And we all have to dress up in Gatsby style. I won't make it there, but I will definitely buy a dress, and I'll be dressed here in New Zealand or Australia, wherever I'll be in the world by then.
Amazing.
But we're going to have a Gatsby style conference. And because of your strength in fashion, the focus for that particular conference is all going to be around your personal branding. How are you showing up?
confidence?
How are you dressing for your events? We're going to hire a photographer who will do a photo shoot. We did something similar with the last event, where people went out into the gardens and they came out with some amazing headshots. So the photos that you put out with your bio are really important. The way you look is important. As a speaker, they say you have to give people a visual bite and a sound bite. So how you look is really important. And we will work with you before you come with Elif's help. She will be there as your stylist. You have to show up with 3 or 4 different outfits. And throughout the conference, which will be probably 2 or 3 days, we haven't decided yet, you will be taken away by a photographer.
We're going to build your confidence, ladies.
Yes.
Build it up.
And we will have a fashion show at the end, where we will be launching the HerStory brand. Is called Simzisani. It's a clothing brand that I started that has a buy one, give one concept to it. Where
I
if you
love
buy
it.
one of my dresses, we gift a dress to another woman in need. It could be a woman who's going through a divorce, separated, widowed. If she's had breast cancer or cervical cancer, my caftans are free flowing, so they're non-restrictive clothing. They're made out of 100% African cotton, Indian silk. So we'll be launching my clothing brand there as well. So we're looking for sponsors, people. If you know anybody who would love to sponsor this event, please get in touch with us. And thank you, Ella, for saying yes, because I can see us going around the world
Doing this
creating some
everywhere.
magic with your help and really helping women build self-confidence in how they look.
Confidence leads to success. It really does. Whatever you're doing, sometimes you might have to fake it till you make it,
Yes.
but it works. It opens every door that
Fantastic.
you need.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful start to our day with a vision to meet in person. Finally, at least the UK is
Wow.
open. So thank you so much. Back to
So much.
you, Mariam. Introduce our next guest while we all
Wow.
exit.
That was just full in that first half an hour. My gosh, there is so much going on with Her Story Circle. And Elif, thank you so much for kicking off today. That's amazing. All righty. Okay, next speaker, we have the beautiful Mana Abraham. Anna has over 20 years experience in personal and professional leadership, working across Argentina, Australia, Germany, Hong Kong, India, UK, and the US. As a leader, building teams from one person to 100, leading organizational structures and recruitment processes in a global labor market, analyzing opportunities with acquisitions and mergers, managing teams and stakeholders from different cultures and background skill sets. Mana is a women's empowerment leader and is a key driver that connects roles as a business and is a transformational life coach, director and founder and mentor, working with young girls and women from around the world. A strong advocate of personal leadership and emotional independence, including areas in business, career, and finances. Looking forward to hearing from you, Mana. Take it away.
So,
Thank you,
Mana,
Marianne.
we're going to play your video, or if you want to present live, it's up to you. Which do you prefer?
I think I'm happy to play the video.
Okay. All right. So we'll play the video. Renee, are you controlling our videos for us?
I can. Hold on 1 second.
All right. So we'll all exit. Your video will play, then we'll come back and we'll have our fireside chat with you.
All
Wait,
right. Thank
Gertrude.
you.
Awesome.
Gertrude,
Yeah.
I don't believe I have the right set of videos. I don't see hers up here in the group.
All right. Let me do it from this end. I thought it was in the drive.
No, I just have yeah, I don't have any. The ones you sent me are not the ones from today. I didn't
Okay.
even see the young lady who. Well, you said she didn't have a video, so I don't know.
I've got it.
I apologize.
Okay, here we go. It's all right.
I lost my mom at the age of 2. I had to leave my grandmother when I was 10. Was diagnosed with hormonal imbalance at the age of 13, and I lived with it for 7 years, not telling anyone because I didn't know what to do and whom to go to. At the age of 18, I had to choose to leave my home, leave the comfort, because I wanted to escape from the abuse, and all I wanted was safety and education. I didn't know where am I going, how am I going to survive. All I knew was to escape, and I found this as my path to go forward. Miraculously, people came into my lives and they helped me. When I decided I'm not going to compromise on my values or principles, I'm not going to cheat, I'm not going to copy, I'm not going to sell my body, I'm not going to give myself to the people who are approaching me. When I decided and when I took that strong stand that I'm not going to compromise on these values, it is as though universe conspired to help me. People came to help me. Someone offered me food for 4 years without asking me any money and said, once I finish my education, I can pay them the money. Someone offered me accommodation at a very decent price that I somehow can pull the money together and stay there and study comfortably. And from then on, I went on to become a chartered accountant, which is one of the cream qualifications in India. And I built teams, I traveled so many countries, I built offices, and I worked with so many people from different backgrounds and from many different countries. And one thing I realized working is it's not about work. It's not about getting things done, but at that time I was a go-getter. I wanted to get things done. I had to prove to myself I can survive because I am a survivor. It took me a long time to come out of the survival mode, to come out of the need to prove I am good enough, to come out of the fear of scarcity. It took me a long time, but I never connected the dots. I always had the dreams of snakes and I couldn't sleep. It's only later when I could connect the dots I realized that's the way my subconscious mind helped me to stay awake in the nights so that I don't become vulnerable in the nights. It took me a long time. And one day, when I was watching one of the YouTube videos, the dad tells his daughter to speak to her body to heal herself. And I decided to speak to my mind. And I spoke to my mind and I literally asked the snakes to go away when I closed my eyes, and that dream never occurred again. That gave me an insight to speak to my own mind, and that intrigued me. And as I moved forward, I've become a chartered accountant, CPA, business advisor, project manager, and I worked in 10 different industries, ranging from equity research, auditing, to public sector, to public practice and local government. That gave me so much variety and experience in life, and that helped me to understand so many aspects of the world as well as businesses. But one thing intrigued me constantly and that remained with me is the power of your mind. How powerful is it? And when I worked with people, I worked on their minds and they produced results. I was a go-getter, but I was also a people person. And the more I focused on people and their minds, we built better teams and better organizations, and the teams are still with me today. That led me to the path of understanding mind. On a parallel note, I was always a child intrigued by purpose. I was always questioning, what is this purpose all about? What is this all about? Yes, I will study, then what? Get married, then what? Have children, then what? They will get married, then what? What is the point of this whole life? And everybody, since I was 13 or 14, they told me, do what is in front of you. And I did. But that question never left me. So, and then coming back from being an analytical chartered accountant to a pursuer of mind, I started to understand mind through neuro-linguistic programming. And that gave me the structure of the mind, and that gave me a completely different insight into how we structure our memories, how we structure our past, and how we design our lives around these experiences. And here I am today as a personal breakthrough coach. My name is Mana Abraham, and I'm a business growth strategist, a personal breakthrough coach, speaker, mentor, and a thought leader. I'm a strong advocate of personal leadership and emotional independence because of the story that I just shared with you. And soon I realized resilience is the outcome of self-reliance. If you understand your mind and your body, the expectations on others are very minimal. The moment you understand the power of your mind and your body, your judgments about others is very minimal, because you do not have to prove anything to others, and every judgment about others is a judgment about yourself. And that led me through the path where I can heal any trauma in less than 45 minutes. Yes, I can heal any trauma in less than 45 minutes. And in my journey, I have seen so many clients, and I realized there are so many women out there just like you and I, who are very successful. They have beautiful hearts, they are leading families, leading organizations, leading teams, but silently keeping this to themselves: the trauma, the abuse, the shame, the anger, the isolation, the abandonment, the rejection. And how is it manifesting in their lives and in their bodies? Disease, poor relationships, or workplace issues. So these are all the ways that we are manifesting the suppressed emotions and suppressed memories. Because I come from a science background where energy can neither be created nor destroyed. If you suppress it here, you manifest it in some other form, and we are constantly creating it. And I was talking to someone on the other day on a podcast, and I was telling them, life is like setting your wardrobe. If you are not taught how to sort your clothes from a very young age, you will learn to either compartmentalize or you just throw them into the wardrobe. And when you come to the day when you can no longer manage it, all those clothes, they tend to fall on you, and you don't know how to manage it. So here I am today to share this message with you. 1. If I can do it, you can do it too. And the second one, when I am from this small town, everybody used to associate me as a girl from that suburb. When I left the town, I became a girl from that town. When I left the city, I became a girl from that city. When I left the state, I became a girl from that state. When I left the country, I became a girl from that country. And when I traveled across 2-3 countries, I lost my identity that I come from any particular country or any suburb or any state, and I am a citizen of the world. And in the process, what I understood is my identity kept changing, and the differences I see are the differences I see in myself. So when I was in this small town girl living that life, when I thought I'm a girl, I saw how everyone else treated me as a girl based on gender. When I started seeing myself as a brown skin, I identified everybody identifying me as a brown skin. And now I'm a citizen of the world, and my gender or my skin tone does not matter, my accent does not matter, because we are one. And the moment I shifted my vibration and shifted my frequency, I only started attracting people like that into my life. So second, I realized is the differences you see outside are the differences you see in yourself. And how you can work on that is by understanding and learning to be self-reliant. And for many, self-reliance may be something that got introduced as a child because someone believed in you. But for many others, they do not know self-reliance, so we teach them resilience as a band-aid solution, but self-reliance is the solution. And to do that, what we have to do is to be open. The shame, the stories that we are not sharing with others, the secrets we are holding on to, the abuse that we are suffering in silence or we suffered in silence, if you can share it and if you can resolve that, that's the new beginning, that's not the end. And that is not your fault. You can change it in 45 minutes, and that's my expertise. So my third message to you here today is, if you are suffering in silence, you better be a fool for a minute, share it, and in 45 minutes you will resolve it and you will start a new life. And the fourth one I wanted to talk to you about today is about purpose. I always question my purpose. What's the point? What is this template all about? Studying, marriage, kids, travel, children, identity, titles, job titles. And in my purpose, I realized when maybe in 2015 or 2014, when there was a tsunami, I was there in Chennai. I escaped this huge big tsunami wave in 3 minutes. And I didn't even know there's a tsunami. And in the afternoon, by the time I finished my exam, there was a friend waiting for me to take me home because there were no buses. And by the time I came home, I saw these dead bodies being thrown into this church just like twigs, and I realized this human life is only that much. And we give it so much significance. Many people lost everything, and we had to leave that state that night. Don't know again where am I going, but 6 months later, life moved on. It's not the same, but life moved on. And that made me to realize there is nothing to lose. And I want you also to understand there is really nothing to lose. And the only solution is to become self-reliant with personal leadership and emotional independence. If you understand the power of your mind and what you can do, there are no judgments, no expectations. And we can truly live without a purpose, not attached to the outcome. And we can do what is right as a group of self-reliant individuals with interdependencies. Thank you for listening to my story today.
Absolutely wonderful. Miriam, where are you? Let's bring you back. Let's bring our panel back online. And our amazing speaker. Thank you so much. Vicky, good to see you this morning. Is everybody on?
I'm going. Here's the funny part for today. So here's our joke. Every day I have to bring some comic relief to the scene, right? So I logged in first before you did. So now every time you go off camera, it shows my picture.
I love my
I
Renee.
saw that. I'm like,
I'm sorry. I'm sitting there cracking up. I'm like, every time she go, I'm like, so somebody gonna think that we look like twins or something when we're not together. So I just thought I mention that. Since that's your comic relief for the day. You get no more. Hey, Vicky.
I was just saying, I love my comic relief from Renee.
Hi, Vicky. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Ruth.
Good morning, Vicky.
Good morning, Gertrude.
good
morning, everybody
darling.
else.
Good morning.
I just
Can I?
in.
Sorry.
Are you home?
I just pulled in. None of my bags are unpacked. I quickly just set up the computer and came directly to you. So I
Oh,
literally walked in the door 5 minutes ago.
You
That's
and Mom will be
good.
up next after
Oh.
we have done our fireside chat with Mana.
Okay, so I came on the right time. Okay.
Yeah, time is perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mana, again, so much richness in what you had to say and what you were sharing. And for me, the biggest thing that I took from what you were saying was life really becomes a series of stories. And if you get stuck in one of those stories, you don't get to create the next one, the next one, the next one. And like the analogy that you had with, having a wardrobe full of clothes, you've continually cleared out what no longer fits anymore. But you've learned something from it, which has added to where you are now. So what would you say is one of your biggest lessons from one of those stories for you in terms of where you are now?
I think what I realized is the more filterless we become, the more love we can give. So as many filters as I have, even to the point of identifying you're a woman, I'm still separating me from you. But the moment we don't have those filters, then there are no judgments, no expectations, and we can genuinely love each other.
Yeah.
I think that's what I learned throughout this, because the differences, as I said, the differences we see outside are my differences, that how I see me. And if I don't have that, like there's no difference between you and I. And it's simple. We don't need anything else. It's just that simple.
And would you say that has come about because, as you said, that you were originally a citizen of, where you came from, then, your state, your country, then not identifying with any country, that you became a citizen of the world. Is that where you found that that sort of point of separation sort of started to melt away?
I think what happens is when I was in India, people were talking about how racism exists, how gender bias exists, how diversity, not non-inclusiveness exists. But if we are stuck in one place, we forget to see the variety of what's happening. And then when I came out of India, and then people talk about racism, I'm like, where is racism? Because there's much more in India itself.
Yeah.
Because India itself is like so many states, different languages, different food.
Yeah.
Even your neighbors don't want to accept you immediately, because that's human mind. That's got nothing to do with gender or country or language, nothing. And then, but it's me. If I'm not believing in me, then I'm expecting, like, I had to be on the board. I had to get my voice heard. But if I'm conditioned to believe it's gender, 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 then that becomes a gender. But the truth is, we are humans doing what is right, then they cannot see the difference. So I
Yeah.
think once we move out and travel and understand, we realize it is there everywhere. That's not because of a specific area or a person or a gender. It's just a human mind. And it's about that building. Like, if you're moving a state or moving a country, you learn a new language. You have to find your beautician, find your tailor, find your doctor, find your shopping mall, find your circle of friends. So there's no comfort, but there's beauty in it. Like, once you really go through that warming, storming, norming, we realize, like, the beautiful people. Everybody is so beautiful. So I think that's the turning point. When I thought this is the difference, and I thought, okay, for example, I think this color is the most beautiful color. I go to another state, and this is the most unwanted color, but I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And then I go to another state, and I think, oh, it's a golden border. That's so beautiful. And there's another state you go, and they are like, that's silly. So it it's just human mind, and nothing to
Yeah.
do with my preferences or my likes and dislikes. It just doesn't
Yeah.
matter. That's
Yeah.
what gift happened.
Beautiful. And I love really what you're sort of identifying is that if you believe something's an issue, you end up attracting it to prove that you're right.
That's right.
So the fact that you've busted through a lot of those beliefs, stories, cultural ways of being in the world, that you can see them for what they are, and you just say, okay, well, that's how they're going to go. But for me, this is how I want to view the world. This is how I want to be in the world. And people respond to that.
That's
So,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Absolutely
Everything is
amazing.
a perspective.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And for the fact that you tapping into something that is emerging globally now is just really getting the understanding that we have the power within ourselves, the mechanisms and the machinery to actually heal ourselves.
Yeah.
Nursing background, that in the Western medical model, that is just not on the landscape at this
Yeah.
stage. But leading edge cutting science is proving that yes, we do. And I love that you had your own experience with it first.
Yeah.
Tweaked you to go, holy cow, I did this.
Yeah.
With some self-talk and going in and spending the time to do it, which led you to explore and is now really powerful in your business as part of what you do. And it's and bringing that out further to the world in what you do is really sort of giving people, that option to see, you know what, it is looking out into the world.
Yeah.
There is merit, but at the end of the day, this is all free. Didn't cost you a cent, and you got the power to heal within yourself. So thank you for sharing that point.
Thank you, Maria.
Renee, anything you'd like to add on this one?
Absolutely not, because you just said everything I might have thought about saying. Just other than the fact being, I just appreciate your honesty and transparency about basically, without like using foul language, you basically don't care anymore about other people's opinions. Not necessarily that you don't care, but you've gotten to the point where you truly understand that nobody else's opinions matter. and that it's what you have in your mindset that's going to keep you moving forward, and that's what keeps you separated from those negative spaces and keeps you going towards the positive spaces.
Yeah. And I think when I say I don't care, it's with real genuinity. We don't care because you don't see that anymore. It's not like you're seeing and ignoring and don't care, because when we are not that, there is no problem. And when there's no problem, you can't see it. So that's how we don't care. So I hope you got that point across. So I think that's
Mm.
how. So if I'm attracting a problem, that means I'm still in that mindset. I'm in that frequency there. So I had to just change my frequency, and then that problem disappears on its own. So that's what happens.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah,
Yes.
go for it, Gertrude.
I play a lot with energies and knowing which vibration I want to stay on.
Mhm.
And I was talking to somebody once, trying to find out, how do you deal with someone who's on a low frequency, who's always complaining? We have these people in our lives, right? Focus on all things negative. And I was instructed to say to the other person, if they're complaining about what they don't want, you can help them shift by just asking a simple question: what do you want?
Want.
And immediately they stop talking about all the things that have gone wrong and all the things they don't want, and they focus on what they do want. And it's an instant shift in the other person, because you end up absorbing that negativity. Well, I do anyway. I'm an empath, and it just drains me completely.
Me too.
Fantastic.
And I'd just like to add to that as well. Something that I've learned is when in this community, people are very much on track. They've got inspiration. They've got things that they want to do, things that they want to achieve, often tapping into whatever higher power source that they've got. And you can get sideswiped, exactly as you say, Gertrude, and just, might be one comment, might be one thing. And what I realized is that I allowed that to sideswipe me. And there might be other things that people would say that didn't sideswipe me, but that person did. And it derailed me. But they didn't derail me. I derailed me. So it is my job then to notice how come, why that person, why that experience, why that particular time. And then that's for me to clean up, because I'm on track, and that is more important to me than anything. So I have to notice what derails me, and that's my job. So, and that matter, it sounds like you've just done that again and again and again and again. So, yeah, beautiful. Really, really good.
Thank you so much, Mana. I know
Thank you.
it's late where you are, and if you have to exit and go to sleep, we understand. But if you want to hang out with us, you're welcome to stick
Sure.
around as well.
All
So,
right.
Is she not in Australia? Where are
I'm in
you, man?
Australia. I'm in Adelaide.
Are you in Adelaide?
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Someone from Australia.
I don't know why I was thinking you're in South Africa. Gosh. Now,
It's been a long couple days for you. You've had like 15 million time zones. I don't know why you would have mixed that up, Gertrude, either. I mean, you're superhuman.
Oh gosh. Now, the next superhuman you're going to introduce, Miriam, I just want to frame Vicky and who she is before you introduce her.
Thank you.
This amazing woman has graced our stage, I think, 3-4 times now. Ruth, how many times has Vicky shown up?
I can't believe you're not getting sick of me.
No.
We absolutely love you, Vicky, and I
love you
love
guys.
the fact that you've shown up again, especially because
too,
you are
Renee.
not feeling well. Yesterday,
I'm
you
not.
came and joined us while you're having chemo. Absolutely love your spirit, your zest. It's an honor to have you in our community.
It's an honor to be here.
So, Renee, I'm going to
thrilled.
ask you to control the back end stuff, shift us all out of the way so these two beautiful women can connect, be introduced, and Mom's going to be presenting too, right?
She went home. She was exhausted.
Oh.
I know she doesn't look it, but she's 82.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and she just drove me home like Mario Andretti. I mean,
Hey.
and she's
All
got,
right.
she's got another about 45-minute drive from here to her house. So
But do
she
ask her to come and present before the conference is over. We will slot her in. Just let us know what day.
I can do that. Yeah, give me
Yeah.
the full dates of the conference and I can talk to her. I am going to
Okay.
her book signing, or her book
Club.
her book club tomorrow. That's
Yes.
right.
Oh, wow.
So I'll negotiate for you. How's that?
Okay, that sounds good.
I'll say,
That
Mom,
sounds
I'm not
good.
saying another word until you speak.
Thanks, Vicky. I'll leave you two to it.
Okay.
Vicky, thank you very much for being here. My apologies, I don't have the Bible. I believe that you have the book I Am the One.
Yeah, I do. Very good.
Amazing. Fabulous, fabulous. Gertrude, is there more of the bio there?
I think Vicky's been introduced so many times. She can
I can
introduce
introduce
I
herself.
myself.
think that I am the one. I think
Okay,
that
I
just
am the one.
basically takes it. Yeah. All right.
I
Have
can
we
just
got-
you
you take it away.
wing it. I
Clearly
wing
you're
everything. I wing it. Yeah, I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So I'm here in the States. I just got back from DC where I was getting some intensive treatment. I'm going in every other week now for a while to get some intensive treatment. I have metastatic stage 4 cancer that I'm living with. I was originally told in 2011, when I was diagnosed straight off with metastatic stage 4 cancer, that I needed to go home and get my affairs in order. And I was gobsmacked. I mean, like, not prepared for those words at all. And the Vicky that I was that day that walked into that doctor's office died immediately. And the Vicky that you all know today took over. And I know that that's a strange thing for people to understand, but that is what happened because I needed to be stronger. I think, God knew I needed a little push. And I listening to the doctor, he's going on and on about all my problems. And then it just took me a little while to register that he said, go home and get your affairs in order. And when he did, and then when it registered, like a second later, I snapped. And my mother and my husband were crying to my left. And I was flying across the room and grabbing the doctor by the shirt collar and pulling him in really close because he wasn't looking at me when he said what he said. So when I pulled him in really close, I said, you talk about all these doctors that you consulted with, but you never consulted what I want. You never asked me. And I'm telling you, I don't care what you do to me. I don't care what you cut off me. I'm going to be that one that makes it. I'm a mom. I have kids and I will do anything and I'm going to make it. And then when I realized my hands were around somebody's neck, I backed off and I just sat there looking at them, and it was like dead silence. The doctor, everybody was dead silent. It was like a very uncomfortable silence. It seemed like a long time, but it wasn't a long time. And the doctor then looked up and he looked at me for the first time, me as a person. And he said real quietly, he says, okay, what if I start with chemotherapy treatment? Now, I'm not promising anything, but we could try that and see where it goes. And then he said, what do you think? And I said, okay. Okay. Now, I knew then something that that he, wasn't saying, and that is whether we fixed the cancer in that moment, I was still going to die of congestive heart failure because the cancer was all over my esophagus, my neck, my mammary glands, my left ventricle of my heart, my left lung, so on and so forth. I mean, I was riddled in cancer. And I just hit the ground running and started research. I bought myself some time with this chemo, and I just went into beast mode. And I learned that you have to be your own advocate. You have to fight for yourself because nobody's going to fight for you. And I learned that really quick, right on. And I could fight for myself, and I wasn't going to give up. I was not going to let anybody raise my young children but me, and I wasn't going to leave them. So I knew that. And and I was watching some of the presentations yesterday, and somebody touched on this. And this is what happened to me. I kind of went into a tunnel vision where I didn't see right and I didn't see left. I just fought. And so I was kind of a shell of a person for a good 2 years, kind of acting myself like a robot. I would answer yes or no, but I wasn't really fully there. I was fighting and fighting. I just left a little something of myself for my children, for bedtime reading and bath time and so forth. But otherwise, I was really in my head and fighting a battle like I'd never fought before. And now here it is, 11 years later. And, I've had to do some pretty drastic things to get here today. Now I do have my book, I Am the One, that, you can purchase on Amazon or my website, iamtheone.com. And that kind of will give you more of an insight of what I did throughout those 2 years to survive. But it was tedious and lonely because you don't want to bankrupt your family. And so I'm fighting with insurance companies, fighting with doctors and hospitals just to get the kind of treatment that I want. Plus, I'm sick and I'm going through chemo. So it's very exhausting being me. I still get chemo every month on maintenance. So, and I have been getting it regularly for 11 years. So that in itself is exhausting. So, I say to people when they ask questions about me, I say, it is very tiring being in my shoes. It's very tiring. I liken it to getting up every morning, running up a hill. Then I go to bed, and then I start all over again. I have to run back up that hill. And that is one steep hill, I can tell you. But, I wanted to sort of pivot today and talk about some other things because a lot of people know my story. And as the years have gone on, I have millions of stories in my pocket to tell. And, my mom, you were mentioning before, she wanted me to tell you all the story of what went on this weekend during my treatment. Because I've had such a, I have osteoporosis, I have rheumatoid arthritis, I have, a lot of problems. And I have developed the past several weeks a very vicious cough. And I have a cracked rib because of it. I didn't cough out a lung, I coughed out a rib. So it's very painful now as I speak. And so when I went in for treatment, he said, well, how about I give you some morphine to take away your pain for a little while? And I said, oh, I don't take any painkillers at all. I said, I do have a high tolerance because I've been on chemo a long time. But I said, oh, morphine sounds really strong. He says, I'll monitor you. I'll just give you a little bit. My mother was hysterical. I was gibberishing. I was off the rails. And it's a funny story, of course, that I'm telling you, but the bottom line of all that is really that, you know, things happen to our bodies all the time. And it's, cancer is rough. It's embarrassing. I mean, I peed all over myself, all over their floor, all over the chair I was sitting in. They had to wash my clothes before I could leave. I was totally incontinent. Um, and I'm not an old woman. It's quite embarrassing. And these are the things that I'm dealing with on a day to day basis. So, you know, you have to just find the humor in it because it's so mortifying. So, yeah, I peed all over their floor. I peed all over myself. I mean, I couldn't stand because the morphine was too strong. He had to actually put Narcan in the IV to erase the morphine from my body because I had reacted so loopy to it. He was concerned. But every day it's a new story for me. Every day it's a new something. But I have fabulous family support and I have a will to help other women. And peeing on the floor is not going to stop me from helping women. I made a promise to God that if I could raise my children, that I would help women. And my youngest left for college this year. And I have hit the ground running. Not only do I have this book, I've started a movement, and how apropos is this name, called Lunge for Healthcare. And I'm trying to take that movement global. So any help anybody can assist me, I would be thoroughly grateful. I do now have a board of directors, and we're developing our own website. But the idea behind it is for me to help women in healthcare. And the first thing I'm exploring with my movement is twofold. One, I'm asking women to follow their own instincts when it comes to their health care, as I know so much about. And two, I'm asking doctors to listen first, diagnose second. So it's a very easy cause to jump on. And just by doing those two things, we can save billions of dollars of insurance money. And then I hope to say, well, since I helped you save all these insurance dollars, now I want you to put back all the stuff that you took out of insurance dollars for women's health care. So I'm going to sneak that up on them. But that's the idea of the movement then, to get, mammograms back in at 40 years old. I mean, what are they, 55 or something now? You don't get paid for a mammogram? I mean, that's ridiculous. Getting the other healthcare needs that women have, so that we can live, that we can survive. I am the only one living today with my aggressive form of cancer, and that just is not right. I plan to have a lot more women standing side by side with me as I shout to the rooftops everything that I can, and every breath that I have, I'm going to spend the rest of that time helping women. So nobody has to go through what I've gone through. I'm doing a course to coincide with my book that I feel like is a pay it forward type of course, where I'm going to teach everybody all the pitfalls that I learned, so that when they go into treatment, they can go into treatment positive and strong and tough, and just worry about getting well, instead of having the other worries that I had, like bankrupting your family and, seeing the wrong doctor, leaving your children, all those kinds of things. I want to be able to give people that peace of mind so that they can fight hard, because not everybody is as strong as we all are. And so I need to give them every opportunity that they can to pull from their own strengths. So if I can alleviate the problems and the stressors, then I'm hoping I can save women that way as well. So I have a lot of projects that I'm working on. And ultimately, it's all about helping people. And that's why I'm so thrilled to be a part of the HerStory family, because they are aligned with my vision. You know, I was asked a lot of times to do a lot of joint books. I've been asked to participate in other organizations that were a lot flashier, you know, with big names. And I turned them all down because that doesn't interest me. HerStory is a phenomenal organization that has like-minded beliefs, and I just want to enhance their platform as well as enhancing my own, because we all can be winners that way when women get together, stick together, and help each other out. And that's what we're teaching here at HerStory. And that's what I'm so grateful to be a part of. So I thank you for listening to me today. I may have given away a lot of information, maybe too much, but I talk kind of fast and I talk a lot sometimes. So I'm sorry for that. But hopefully it gives you insight and it gives you the incentive to do a book or do something with HerStory to give back, because it's very important to keep HerStory alive and growing. And it's up to us to help that happen. So I thank you today. I thank you for having me.
Vicky, thank you. That is the first time I have heard you speak your story. And again, with a background in nursing, I just absolutely applaud you for your tenacity.
Thank you.
It's, yeah. And I'm a firm believer that there is a reason why you survived and why you're kicking and you're just on fire, and that you are spreading a message around the healthcare there in the US. Is this illness came to you, but you chose to actively fight it, to really persevere, and look at where you are now. What, 11 years on? 11?
It's actually come January 5th. I'll be heading into my 12th year.
Wow. There's a
Knock
reason
on
why
wood.
because you have the ability to not just survive, but to create something as a result. And that's what you're doing. And so I guess when we look at why do these things come to someone and not somebody else, why was it that you survived and maybe somebody else didn't? Because you have the ability, because you had the desire to spread this further with the message, and that you were the one that was able to bring it to life. So I applaud you for that, and to you're doing great things out there.
Thank you.
What I wanted to highlight too is when you opened up by talking about that time in with the doctor that gave you the news.
Mm-hmm.
There is some research and some statistics on when somebody receives a diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
the attitude and the delivery via that doctor directly can impact the outcome of somebody's diagnosis, prognosis.
Oh.
There's actually research around it.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, because it's the power of belief. The doctor says,
Right.
I have 2
And
months.
the doctors, because that's what I talk about in my movement. You know, women are led blindly down the road to listen to whatever they say if you're in a white coat. Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor. And, you know, I would never say anything bad about the medical community because they were there for me. But I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for me.
100%.
And so, you know, as women, we have to make our own choices. That's why I'm saying follow our instincts, because doctors aren't always right and they're limited. Let's face it, I'm the only one alive with my aggressive form of cancer. So his ability to understand what's wrong with me is limited, as almost limited as what mine was.
Yeah.
And I had the drive and, because I was the one sitting on the hot seat and I wasn't planning on dying that day. And there was
Yeah.
no way I was going home and getting my affairs in order. Who did he think he was? He can get his affairs in order.
Yeah.
I wasn't having that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't having it. There was just no way.
Yeah.
No way.
And I think when we recognize that they have the ability through tests, scans, etc., to deliver a diagnosis, what is never taken into account and what is actually emerging now is your lioness, your power of that mama bear lioness that said, I'm the one that's going to be looking after my children. That's just how it's going to be. That you decided to take control of your life. They're not in that model of that has shifted to include all those other things, mind-body connection, etc., that they are there to deliver diagnosis. And if we can just frame it up, great, got my diagnosis, I've got some treatment options, and the rest is up to me. And so it seems that there's a little bit of a theme kind of emerging today is one, don't ever keep a good woman down. Something with inspiration, something that is just within themselves, and taking ownership for one's life. And it is a choice, it is a decision to do that.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot more tenacity to do that when we can just get swept up with the rhythm of how life tends to go. So it's really coming in very strongly today. And something that Michael Singer said in terms of how we wake up in the morning, and I love how you're saying that it has been a struggle to get to this place. It's not a walk in the park.
No.
Is in the morning waking up and just I'm back.
Yeah. I don't exactly jump out of bed because my body is pretty broken.
Yeah.
But I slide out and I'm happy to have the day.
Yeah.
I rolled down it like a roller coaster off the bed.
Yeah. Absolutely. And despite, I think what you have identified, a lot of people here are from the US, a different healthcare system to what we have in Australia. And, all the things that you're talking about, having to fight insurance companies, all that kind of stuff, when a lot of what you guys are having to pay for in Australia, we don't. And one, it makes me appreciate
other things in Australia that you have to deal with for women in healthcare, because you have to wait in line to get a doctor. And it takes you forever to get a doctor. And your women in your country in certain medically aren't seen as a priority as the male diseases are. So you have other obstacles to overcome. So, when I take this movement global, your healthcare system might not be the same as the US healthcare system, but yours still has problems for women. And, and that's something that we all have to shout out about.
Yeah.
You need to be heard too.
Yeah. It's and thank you for identifying that. Country to country, there's always going to be gaps within the services, and you being such a great, strong voice for it is obviously a segue into creating change. So I absolutely applaud you. And as I say, from that nursing background, I can have a tiny glimpse into what your journey must be like, and how much it takes from, to get where you are. So really appreciate your share.
Thank you.
And what you're doing. Yeah. Gertrude, anything you'd like to add in?
Again, we will just go around the room. But again, Vicky, I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you back.
When I was recovering from heart failure, just waking up in the morning and just being able to walk to the door, to go into the shower and wash myself
Yeah.
was an effort.
Yes.
And I think what you're doing is not just for those women who are experiencing a health challenge, not even just cancer, it's any disease.
Oh, it's any. Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you do in the recovery? How do you stay so positive? So since I met you, I've been designing another app for you. I haven't told you yet, but I wanted to see if it would work first.
Oh, you're such a cutie. Oh.
But I can see just the need for somebody to have an alarm that rings and it's got a positive message. Wake up, you made it to another day. Yay!
Yeah, I can do that.
Now it's time for you to go take a shower, brush your damn teeth, and we could make it funny. We could use Renee's voice.
Right.
Love it. Love it.
Well, I actually developed an exercise video for when I was going through a period of time that I was so restricted in movement. I mean, I also have sarcoidosis of the lung, so I can't get my heart rate up too high. And then, of course, I couldn't walk. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. And so when the time came, I was just so bored. I needed to move. I developed an exercise program that quite honestly was so therapeutic. I would cry through it because it was so healing. And I put it on tape it's on my website to sell, so that anybody that is going through something physically should, can get this tape. And it's just another way, like you're saying, maybe I'm not yelling on an app, but the exercise is so joyful that it's helpful for a lot of people that are really restricted. I've given it away.
Give us your website link, Vicky.
Pardon?
Let's give us your website link so we can display it.
I put it in the chat already.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll share that. I'm sure there will be somebody who's listening who could do with a bit of encouragement today.
Well, I'll encourage anybody that wants to reach out to me on my website, iamtheone.com, and I do coach as well. So I'm a motivational speaker. So I wear a lot of hats. I keep myself very busy. I know I'm tired all the time, but I don't like to sit around. It just bores me like crazy. Love it. So I try to keep myself active.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're constantly moving any kind of roadblock out of the way. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And it is a little bit rare. So thank you for being that. Show that it's possible.
The wrong website is up. It's my email address is iamtheone.vicky@gmail.com. Just so you know.
We'll correct that.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, ladies? Let's go around the room before we move on to our next speaker and release Vicky so she can do her breath.
Oh, my friend.
Great.
Hi, Vicky.
Hi, my friend.
How are you? And somebody says, Rachel Ray Johnson says, thank you, Vicky.
Oh.
I am Zach, and she.
Oh, Rachel, right back at you.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is, as you were speaking and you talked about fighting, that the 2 years you were literally in your mind.
Yeah.
You were fighting a battle. You fought for yourself.
Yeah.
And that spoke to me deeply, that we really need to fight for ourselves, because nobody's going to fight for us.
No one's going to fight for us.
People will see you were doing things, you were still a mom and a wife and an employee or whatever, but in the battle that you were having here, that you had to fight every day.
Yeah, it was tough.
And you came out of it, girl.
Yeah, we can't wait to dance with you, girl, when we bring you to New Zealand, Australia.
I'll totally come to New Zealand. Oh, I would
take you on a book tour.
Yeah, I'm in.
Love it.
I'll bring the wine.
So thank you. You break the
Oh,
You
is
got
that my Selena there?
Yes,
Oh,
Selena's got
hi.
something to say.
I don't have anything to say, Vicky. But that walk was powerful. I was going woohoo,
Oh,
that.
because
thanks.
if I hadn't also stood for myself, it's
Yeah.
like I wouldn't be here.
Right. I
I and,
remember.
and I always think we as people, as women, we always trust the doctors.
Yeah.
They know it all. You can't. I was even shouting at my husband the other day. Oh, the doctor says that. Oh,
Right.
I said, come on, this is me.
Right.
This is for me. Nobody can tell me what to eat, what to do, how to exercise. I ask my body. My body tells me, and I
Exactly.
tell it what to do. And my body will never say no. It
You go,
has
girl.
to
That's
say
right.
yes. So it's like, okay, that's it. And I was allulating. I enjoyed you. I
Oh,
just saw it.
thanks.
And I thought, from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to shout on Facebook. I'm going to join you. And I really need to do that because people, we are dying. We are selling our lives. We are cruel criminals because we take that and we kill ourselves. People kill themselves by giving their power away. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
to own our power,
Yep.
but we don't.
I want to make my own destiny.
Exactly. And I mean, what really is very, like, I just thought, no, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
11 years of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I had 1.5 years. And when I left, I said, I'll never have this again. I just thought,
Yeah.
the doctors were forcing me to do the radiotherapy. I said, no, I'm going to fight it on my own terms. I
Yeah.
do water fasting 7 days a week. People think I'm crazy, but I said, that's what my body needs. I need to detoxify. I need to
And
remove the chemicals. And I know
nobody
what my
knows our bodies better than our
tell
what we
me,
do.
tell me, tell
So
me.
you're right.
Yeah,
You keep doing that because
I
you've been
do.
alive a long time too.
I know.
So go, girl. What you're doing is the right thing.
I know.
Don't let
So
anyone tell you otherwise. You stick
no.
to your guns.
We have to do that. God gave us that power. He gave us that
Right.
dominion over everything.
Right.
Not over just one thing, but He says over
Yeah.
everything.
Yes.
So why shouldn't I say yes, I'm
And God is
capable?
good.
Yeah,
You know,
all the time.
I he's on my shoulder, you know, egging me on, I think.
Yes,
Yep.
cheering you up. That's my girl. Come on, girl. Come on.
I
Yeah.
do.
Anyway, love you. Thank you so much. Oh, thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thank you.
Go
Thanks.
Thank
and
you
rest
for showing
now,
up.
Vicky. Take
Say
a
again.
break, girl. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to go unpack now
Y'all forgot
and
And
get
about
the
me.
rest.
Mom,
Thank you, Vicky.
Wait,
Look forward to doing
wait,
some more with you.
wait.
Wait.
Vicky, I gotta say something first
Oh,
before
I'd
you
love to
go.
hear
You
from
know,
my
I
Renee.
know.
Oh,
Ow.
hey, girl.
I just want to say thank you again for sharing your story. Thank you for standing in your strength and your truth.
Yeah.
Whenever I out that one of my favorite words is resilient. I promise you, when I think of the word resilient, if I had to put a book together and it had to be a picture next to the word, your picture would be next to the word resilient.
Aren't you sweet?
Get your
Renee,
rest.
that's nice.
Let the Lord replenish you and take care of
Yeah.
yourself so we can see you back here either sometime this week or definitely in the near future. So God bless you and be well.
Thank you so much. And thank you for putting that picture behind you again today. I love it. You gotta get me one of those. I love
Oh,
that
wow.
picture. Thank you, Renee.
Nice.
Renee's muted.
You're
She's saying
muted now,
something.
Renee.
We
For
can't
a
hear you.
change.
Look, these pictures, right? Look, I don't know what I'm doing, right? These pictures. Look, I'm gonna behave myself today. These pictures are like 13, 14, 15 some years. They're over like almost 20 some years old, roughly.
Oh.
I will look for a print. If I find a print, I got you.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, nice.
You're my
If I
girl.
find a
Thanks,
print, I
Renee.
got you.
Thank you.
Most definitely.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Take care, Vicky. Love
All
you.
right. Thanks for
All right.
having
Thank
me
you,
today,
Vicky.
everybody.
Very powerful.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. All righty.
Wow.
Okay. Just powerhouse stories this
Mm.
morning. And yeah, themes are emerging, threads are emerging. And also, I'm noticing that a lot of people are speaking today wearing sort of thread type necklaces. And I feel a little bit special because that was Elif's and she's in fashion. So I must be doing something right. There's hope for me yet. Okay, so we have Renee up next. I believe my sincere apologies. I haven't got your beautiful information
No,
and
it's
I
okay.
haven't
Look,
connected.
okay. It's perfectly fine, Marianne. Look, I'm gonna tell you, if you haven't realized yet, I'm the comedic of the group, and yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a little old nobody trying to tell a whole lot of somebodies about a little bit of something to help you get out of a place called stuck. That's about it. That's it. That's
Nice, I love it.
all.
Beautiful.
So
Yesterday
we're
I
gonna play
forgot.
your video,
Yeah, we can.
Renee?
Do you have it? You want me to play it
Yep,
or?
I
Okay.
have it queued. Do you want me to do it, or are you gonna do it?
It's up to you. It's cute over here. You help yourself, Gertrude, since you back on time. I'm just saying, look, this your world. I'm just a little old squirrel trying to get a piece of the pie and just be included in the interim of everything. See, I want to be somewhere, even though you've been doing this for a while. I want to be somewhere 10, 15 years from now. And I won't tell how old I am at the present moment. But I'll be walking with a cane or probably a walker or something at that time. So when I could look back and see the youngins come in, I'd be like, hey, I was there almost from the beginning. I wasn't in there
Yes.
with when she first came doing the vision. I wasn't part of the vision, but I helped get the vision across the borders. That's all I want to be able to say. Other than that, I'm good.
You'll be swinging the cane around.
Okay, then here we go.
All righty.
I'll share the screen. The beautiful Renee in Cancun.
Good day. Hello, this is your girl, Y Renee, and I'm so excited to be here on Her Story Circle. So, Gertrude and Ruth asked me to do this video, and I'm really excited. So, you all can see my background. I am filming from the wonderful country of Mexico. I'm actually in Cancun. I just got done speaking on a fantabulous stage here. So, my journey has been amazing. So I just want to talk to you all a little bit about I want to encourage you all that you can live your best life after anything that you've been through. And for me, this has been an amazing journey. 2021, even in the midst of a pandemic, have been blessed beyond measure. Connecting.
I am going to.
Let me see if I can share it from my screen.
Yeah, share it from that side. Something's going wrong on my side.
Okay, just a second.
Thanks. It'd probably be better if you have the video.
Let's see. Oh no, the video is actually on my phone.
Okay.
So here, hold on. Let's do this.
Because we couldn't play the video yesterday, remember?
Yes, ma'am. Let me find out where I'm at over here. Let's see. Where's the StreamYard? I just had it. Where am I? Are you serious? Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Oh no. I'm doing 50 million things. Okay, StreamYard's over here. I'll close that out. I'm going to do. I just had. Okay, so let me go back. Here we go. This is what we're going to do. Let's find our message. I'm going to pull it up this way. Aha. Okay, so That's not. Hold on one second. Um, can you all see it, Gertrude? How does it look?
Yes. Yeah, but blow it up, make it fill the screen, or rather go to the Chrome tab where you have it open, maximize it.
Is that better?
No, maximize the video
Okay.
on you.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, there. That's one.
That's better.
Yep,
How does it look on your end?
it looks good.
Okay, I'm just gonna play it and be quiet. How about that? Ready?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Good day. Hello, this is your girl, Y Renee, and I'm so excited to be here on Her Story Circle. So, Gertrude and Ruth asked me to do this video, and I'm really excited. So, you all can see my background. I am filming from the wonderful country of Mexico. I'm actually in Cancun. I just got done speaking on a fantabulous stage here. So, my journey has been amazing. So I just want to talk to you all a little bit about I want to encourage you all that you can live your best life after anything that you've been through. And for me, this has been an amazing journey. 2021, even in the midst of a pandemic, have been blessed beyond measure. Connecting with Gertrude and Ruth in her story circle has been amazing. I've been able to speak on this platform a couple of times, and I've actually been able to help Gertrude do some things. So I'm really excited about being here. So when I talk about thriving in your after, my story is that I'm a 15-year domestic abuse survivor. For those who have never seen me before, I'm a four-time suicide attempt survivor, and I survived being gunned down in my home.
Steven.
I'm sorry, in front of my home. It'll be 13 years, December 28th of
Shirara.
2001, for those who may
I
watch
think
this
we're
video.
good. I'm
So
just
I'm just
trying to
really
see
excited about the
kuti
things that
Tolena up
I'm a woman
Ani
of business.
next.
I'm really excited
Jenny
about
is
the things
not
God has done and
coming.
how He's uh, sustained me and prepared me for such
Uh,
a time as this. If that makes sense. So when I tell my story, people always laugh. And one of the things that me and Gertrude always talked about was the fact
Paula is a
that
3 minute.
I'm always so jovial and I like to
Lorena
celebrate.
Rachel
So
is 3 minutes.
my thought process is this.
So I need to
You've
create
gone through
another
something,
video just to
and when
fill
I
this
say gone
gap.
through, that you made it to the other side. Because if you were
Maybe
still
we
in
do a
it,
short one
um,
after this. Then we
you
do
you have to like focus on being
Evelina.
in the now. And what I feel like is anytime that we're in a dark space or dark place where we feel like things aren't going right, I always think of that as a tunnel. When you look at the end of a tunnel, unless you're just in complete darkness, at the end of the tunnel, there's always some form of light. I don't care if it's a pin top, a pin, I mean, the tip of a needle. There's always some type of light. You have to search it out and look for it. And if you begin to walk towards that light, um, you all will begin to understand. You guys have to speak now. I don't have a table. You all will begin to understand that walking towards the light will take you to your better, will take you to your next, will take you to your greatness. I walk in authority in doing the things that I do now because of what I've been through. Yes, I was real depressed. Yes, I've gone through some things that would make people feel like I should have thrown in the towel. But my thought process is this: if I tried to take my life and I failed, apparently, because you see me here, and then someone after that tried to take my life by gunning me down in front of my home, then I have no right, no rhyme, no reason to be really upset because I'm here. And there is a purpose and a plan for my life. So I'd like to encourage you all that are watching this video who feel like you're stuck in a place, just understand that better is on the horizon, that your next is coming. And you just have to keep pushing and working towards it. What do I mean by that? I'm big on affirmations, positive affirmations. Words have power. Whether you want to believe it or not, sit back and think about some of the things that you've done in life when you thought of something. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the thought became a reality. You didn't really put any effort towards it. You just didn't think about it. It was something you thought, something that happened, and it just manifests itself. A good girlfriend of mine uses the RAS filter. The RAS filter is a little filter that's in the back of your head. It's like a nerve or something that's in the back of your head. And when you think about the RAS filter, think about the fact being, say, I'm going to use My favorite car is a Hummer. I used to own a Hummer. Would love to get a Hummer again. And when I think about the Hummer, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna get a Hummer again. Now, mind you, I'm thinking about it. I may even say it out loud. While I'm driving though, the first day, I see no Hummers at all, but it's just a thought that comes in my head. Then over the next couple days, weeks or so, all of a sudden, all of these H3s start manifesting. They were always there, but now that it's in the front of your mind is seeing it more to help you focus to see that is obtainable. If that makes any sense. So what I will say about that is you have to do the same thing about you. You have to see yourself healed. You have to see yourself moving past this depression. I understand. Being in the midst of it, it sounds crazy as heck. But I promise you, if you start journaling, if you start writing positive affirmations, the fact being, I am beautiful, I am courageous, I am healed, I am better, I am no longer depressed. I'm going to walk in my best life. I promise you, if you begin to write these down and repeat them to yourself every day, or just look at them every day, or if you're somebody who don't feel like writing, or if you're not a scribe, I would say record it. Just like I'm recording this video to you all. Record your affirmations and play them back to yourself daily, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. They will begin to manifest themselves in your life and you'll be amazed at the change. So when I think about thriving in my after, like I said, I'm big on acronyms and affirmations. So after, A, I just said that you have to affirm yourself daily, sometimes multiple times a day. Affirming yourself builds your self esteem, it builds your confidence, it gets you to a place. Oh my God, I hate these angles. We're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna try to hold this up. So it affirms how you feel. Oh my God, look at that backdrop. So anyway, it affirms you affirm yourself daily will help you move to your next. It would help you realize that there is more to you, and you can actually get past where you are. I like to call it a place called stuck. I need you to get past stuck, period. Okay? So, F, faith. I told you before, I'm a woman of great faith. Even if you are not someone who believes in a higher power, there's something inside of you, a gut instinct that gives you the push to keep doing. So you have to have the belief in that thing that is going to push you forward. So you have to have the faith that no matter what, that you're going to make it, that you're going to be okay. That like I'm sitting here talking to you, you can be better too. Okay. T, tenacious. I love pit bulls, and people think about pit bulls. They think about them being mean. They think about people that train, but it's really how people train the dog. But pit bulls themselves are very lovable. They're very faithful and very loyal dogs. Okay, but when I talk about the nations, I talk about whenever you think about it, if you read up upon a pit bull, when they hold on to something, they grasp a hold of it. Their jaws lock, and they don't release until either they're tired, until the person who is training them, the commander gives the command to release, or until someone accidentally like has to relieve them of their life to let go of what they're going on to. But that's only at really hard circumstances. But that's another story for another day. But I want you to have that type of mentality when you're going after your better. I need you to grab hold of whatever dream, whatever aspiration that you have in life. If you're looking to write a book, write it. If you got to start somewhere, start penning down your thoughts and your ideas. If you're looking for a better job, you have to put forth the action. Improve your resume. Get new skill sets towards the job that you want to do. If you have to go back to school, back to school. But I need you to be tenacious about doing. I need you to be like really on it to make it happen. Okay. E goes with effort. With the tenacious, you got to put forth the effort. If you don't do anything, if you don't move, if you don't have moving anything you do, you'll sit stagnant and nothing will happen. You need to put forth the effort to make sure everything goes the way it's supposed to go. And R, my favorite word, resilient. I know in my life, because of everything I've been through, and because I've stood the test, and I'm still walking through tests. Don't get me wrong, my life is not always, oh my God, my life is always not peaches and creams. I do have bad days like anybody else does, but I choose to live better. I choose to be better. And I'm very resilient about the fact being that resilience means something that can last. Like I said, if I can bounce back from 4 bullets, if I can bounce back from being in an abusive relationship for 15 years, if I can bounce back from being so depressed that I decided that my life was not good for anything on this earth, and I tried to take it and I failed. That is resilience. That is the bread and butter of everything in life. You have to have that type of mentality to keep moving. So, um, thriving in your after. I taught on this earlier during the year, but of course, anytime you evolve and anytime you change, because we're ever changing people, that's something else you need to know. Don't beat yourself up because something is not going the way you want it to. Give yourself grace. Give the person that you're involved with, or relationships that you're in, that you all hit a hiccup in the road, whether it be a girlfriend, whether it be a boyfriend, whether it be your mom, your dad, cousin, brother, sister, it doesn't matter. We forget to extend people grace. Sometimes it takes us years to know ourselves. However, when people do something to us, when people fail, when they fall, and then something acts up, we forget to extend grace. We want people to understand what we're going through, but we forget when other people are going through and understand for them, and vice versa. We would need them to understand what we're going through too. With that being said, if you need to change your circles, change your circles. If you need to release some people from your friendship, do that. Do that in a loving way, or maybe not necessarily release them completely. But if you're trying to do things that they're not supportive enough, or if they're not moving in the direction that you're going to, um, reevaluate and put boundaries up, put them in their space. Not saying you have to get rid of them completely, unless of course the relationship is totally toxic. I do believe in mental health. I do believe in living in healthy relationships. When something is not going the way it's supposed to go, if you don't feel comfortable releasing them completely, however, release them to a certain extent. Put a boundary up. In this time, so yeah, I just really want to show you this is beautiful. I really want to be on the ocean side, but I'm happy with the trees. I'm living my best life. So you guys, that's my time. I really do hope that something was said and then Renee, RENA, as you can see on my shirt. Hopefully, it's probably backwards though. But I am a trauma recovery coach. What is trauma recovery? I deal with life instances, and even though we have therapists and things of that nature, sometimes the therapist cannot get to the knit and grit because they don't resonate with what you've been through, or they don't understand what you've been through. They have textbook. They have understanding. And I'm not saying I'm big on therapy. I went to therapy myself after coming out of my abusive relationship, after being diagnosed with PTSD. I believe in therapy, but there was something at one point in time that my therapist could no longer connect with me, and I had to do the work on my own. So what I like to do is assist people and getting through that work process. So if you need to connect with me at any level like that, or just some regular coaching or mentorship, again, you can reach out to me on all social media as Y Renee, or my website is www.yreneecooper.com. That's www.yreneCooper.com. And would love to connect with you all. So, in closing, I need you to be okay. Smile your best smile. When you smile, other people smile. And that'll also help you get past your place called stuck. And I need you to thrive in your after.
Ah, Renee, powerful.
Look, I'm trying to find it. Where is it? There it is. Wait, look, stop sharing.
Uh,
There we go. All right
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Hey,
Hey, you're back.
wasn't
I
that
know
wasn't that
very
great? Forget
beautiful.
the video. The scenery was fantabulous. I just
Thank
forget
you for
everything else.
taking us
Don't
to
think about
Cancun.
look, don't think about nothing I said. What I said was irrelevant. Just look at the background, the grass. I mean, the trees. I mean, even though it was like rainy, it still was like a beautiful day. It was nice
Rena,
outside. I just think that was
Rena,
fabulous.
Rena, come and visit
Yeah,
me. I live among trees. Come and visit
you
me.
live by
Come
street.
on. I
I'm gonna come
live,
sit with you,
you know,
Selena.
I could sleep in the park. There are 7 pools around me. 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
I'm
the
gonna
big
have to come
trees.
visit you. You're gonna be on my bucket list.
Oh, the trees are big. The greenery is wonderful.
uh,
Wow.
Renee, I love that you can be in the middle of doing your talk there and just like, oh, hang on, everybody, just let me just position so that I
Because
can.
the
She's
table wasn't
playing.
acting right. I had one of them things, not quite a selfie, but it was one of those. It was a tripod, but it was a miniature tripod. The table wasn't high enough. I was trying to do this. Then I realized it was too close to my face, and I looked really, really fat. And then I was trying to go back, and then it just whatever.
You're doing the girl thing. You really do own resilience. It's just pours out of you, and just the idea of thriving after, I think, just in on of itself really speaks volumes and will speak loudly to people that are perhaps still in trauma, or maybe just on the cusp of being on the out of it, and is like, what is next for me? What is possible? And feeling like there perhaps is nothing. And for you to have shared what you have, that those times didn't define you as though that's it. It actually became the definition for what you've become. And for people to think that there is an after, even just to grasp that concept is huge. So, and that you've been able to use it as the acronym and what's in part of that, I just, really unique and really beautiful, and no doubt will really help many, many people. And the other thing as well is just one thing that you've been through could be the stop point for many, that, people end up being 90 years old but died when they were 40, so to speak. For you to be able to reframe some really, really, really challenging times that could put a stop for a lot of people, to reframe that that's how you actually are where you are now. Again, I thank you for doing everything that you have. That's
Thank you.
really, really, really powerful. So, yeah. So, Selena, questions, comments?
Can I comment on myself? No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
And I think we've all got dibs on the portrait at the back. Do you paint those, or do you?
No, I purchased this. Okay, so part of my thing, and we showed it yesterday. It's a woman. I didn't really explain it. So part of me, what you have to realize is a lot of times people, and this is Renee 1-in-1. I'm not gonna say this about everybody, but a lot of people, we have imposter syndrome. What we do is and I did it for a long time. When I started speaking and telling my story, even though I was telling the story, I acted like I was healed from it, or it didn't affect me. And then I would go home and be in a deep depression for 3 or 4 days. Or I would go home and bawl my eyes out and not talk to anybody. Or I would go home and medicate myself just so I wouldn't have to deal with what I had to just release. However, I knew there was a call for me to do different things. So when I seen this picture actually I got it in the midst of my marriage. And I seen myself in it for the simple fact is, while my mask was while my face was rejecting my mask, a part of me still wanted to hold my mask up because I didn't want people to know that I was being abused. I didn't want people to know I was being unhappy. And even though she looks very melancholy, disconnected, my mask was that of, like I told him yesterday, joking for me is a defense mechanism, even though I think sometimes people think I'm funny when I'm being serious, but whatever. But joking has been a defense mechanism for me. But this person really resonated with me because of what she stood for and what she looked like. One, because she's the same color as me. That's one. Two, I always used to like Harlequin dolls, the white face dolls with the paint. So this, all this stuff stood out to me. And there's so many things, and everybody could look at this picture and pull something different from it. Kind of like the Bible. I could read one scripture in the Bible and it could mean something to me, but it'll mean something different to somebody else. But for me, this stood for the fact being that she was trying to keep her mask on when her mask was really trying to fall off.
Wow.
And trying to hold on to the negativity, trying to hold on to the self-doubt, trying to hold on to stuff that at the same time, while not really letting people know that that's what she was dealing with. That's what it resonated to me. And so then I also have the male version of it. And we know men, they're a little bit more stern, they're a little bit more powerful, they're a little bit more forthcoming. Even though I know most men to lie often. they'll be more likely to stand in their truth when it comes to emotional things. They may not admit the emotional thing right away. They may not want to deal with it. However, when they do come to grips with it, when they do admit it, they're the ones to stand up for it, because now it becomes pride and ego for them. So with that one, he's actually pulling off his mask because he's standing in his truth. But yes, I like those pictures. They've been a part of my life for some years. And I really need to get something. I just remodeled my office not too long ago. Well, I'm lying. It's been about a year. So I remodeled my office. And I've just been too trifling to actually go to the store and get like command strips and put them on the wall, because I don't want to put a nail in the wall. So I'm trying to use everything else so I don't mess up the stuff. So yeah.
Amazing. Yep. Yeah. I see all what you're talking about in those images. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Amazing. Resonates.
Yeah, I always have to say something about Renee and her amazing sense of humor. I have watched your video, I have listened to your presentation 5, 6, 10 times. But what I feel is just this joy that comes from somewhere inside you, just this fact that you're alive, and that energy comes through. I feel like you're in the room with me right now.
Oh,
And it's infectious. I need you to know that as well, that when you are feeling that good inside of you, it transfers to people who watch you, even if it's just online and we haven't met. I feel like you're a sister from another mother. I know that the day we meet, we better not have a bottle of wine, because
right, like we might be in trouble.
But no, thank you for your positivity. And I love the way that, like Marianne said, you capture the essence of it with that acronym at the end of your presentation. Some real solid take homes that people can take. And you wrapped each letter with a visual, like I have the bulldog stuck in my head right now. I hate bulldogs. I hate dogs, period. The
Now
way
you like
you talk about tenacity and the bulldog, when they get hold of something, they do not let go.
Because their jaws lock. And that's what people fail
Yeah.
to realize. But again, like this is how I feel about any animal, with the exception of well, I won't even say that. I think animals that are meant to be wild animals, after a while, even though you may train them in your own surroundings to be good animals, because their instinct is to be a part of the wild, they'll still want to revert back to that nature. But when we're talking about dogs and cats and things of that nature, when they're raised around people like us, real avid dog lovers that know that they're not supposed to fight those dogs, if you train any dog to be just that, they could be the biggest babies ever. Like I had a Great Dane. A lot of people are scared of Great Danes because the big Marmadukes, they stand like on their hind legs. They stand like 6 or 7 feet tall. When they're on their all fours, they're like 4 feet, 5 feet tall. And everybody who came by my house was scared of my dog. But when I tell you, once you came in the house and, after dogs get to know you, they smell you, do whatever have you, he want to lay all over you with his big self, knock you down if you let him, would play, romp, do whatever have you. He was nothing to be afraid of. But people who are afraid of dogs, I do get it. I do get the fear of them. But the same thing with a pit bull. They can be rather attentive and loving. They're very protective. However, they're very loving and attentive. And the only reason why they will be vicious is if somebody teaches them how to be vicious. But if you the same thing with humans. If you lock us in a cage for long enough and you don't feed us, or you feed us on demand, kind of like the prison system. If you feed us on demand, if you constantly fight at us, if you back us in the corners or whatever have you, we could be some of the most heinous, what's the word I'm looking for? Detrimental, like really like type people. If we're in cage long, if we're caged long enough, if they treat us like animals. So
Yeah.
and that can certainly go one or the other way. Yeah.
It can.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on to our next speaker, Marianne?
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you, Renee. Now we have Selena that is up next. You're still on mute. Beautiful. Really looking forward to hearing your story, Selena. My sincere apologies. I don't actually have a bio. So if you just want to introduce yourself, where you're from, And I believe we've got a video for you, Selena.
No, I think I'm going to talk.
Are you going to talk?
Yeah,
Fabulous.
I'll use the video next time.
Good on you. Okay.
Yeah, my name is Selena Chesha. I am in the UK. You know, but I'm a Zimbabwean. I'm 56 years old. I'm a grandmother, a mother of two, grandmother of two, and a wife of two. Anyway, I grew up in a family of nine, and I was the middle child, middle girl, of which I enjoyed so much. But what I'm talking about now is the time when I had God speaking to me. I was working as a Christian Science nurse after coming to the UK 2002 on my own. And as a Christian scientist, you don't go to the doctors. You know, that's their rule. You just have to pray until you get healed. But the founder of the church had said, no, if you feel you can't pray for yourself, you can go to the doctors, of which I did. But what happened now, this day, I didn't believe. 10 years I didn't go and to see a doctor. 10 years. And I didn't feel I wanted to go and see one. But one day, I was about to go back to work because I used to work Wednesday to Sunday. Then my son said to me, Mom, before you go, can you go up the stairs? And I mean, in our culture, you can't ask your mom to do something. You know, you don't. It's taboo. It's not respecting your mom. But he says, can you go upstairs? And I said, why? He says, just go. And I thought, okay. But then he became a bit like, just go. And I thought, okay, I'll go. I walked up the steps. As I was just getting to the top, 2 steps to the top, I couldn't breathe. And he says, can you see? If we had told you that you are sick, you're not going to accept or agree. Then I thought, oh, no, but I'm okay. He says, no, we're going to take you to the doctor. I said, which doctor? I don't have a doctor. Yes, we have looked into that. We know you don't have, but we have looked into one. There's one up the road there, and we can go together. You get the forms and you fill. When you come back, we'll go and see the doctor. So I did that. After 2 weeks, that's when I got an appointment. They knew they had, and I even phoned him. He had gone to work, my son, and I said, I got a call from the doctor. I don't know what's happening. Then he says, I know, I'm coming home just now. Wait for me. Then I had to wait for him. We went to this doctor. He didn't even use a stethoscope. He just said, where do you come from? Then I said, I come, what do you mean come from? He says, where is your original country of birth? And I said, Zimbabwean. And he says, no, that's AIDS, HIV. You know, it's rampant in your country. And I said, I came here because I'm in pain. I just need something for the pain. Then he says, no, get some paracetamol. And that was it. I went for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just taking paracetamol. I ended up saying to my kids, no, I think this is not working. You took me to the doctor. If you want me to get healed, I better do that. This is not working. So when one day my son says, no, I'm coming back. I'm going back, going into the doctor with you. So we went. He saw what was happening. He just said, okay, I'll give me more paracetamol. Maybe we can change the strength. That's all. So when we came out, he says, this is not working, Mom. Let's change. So we went to the other doctor and he says, oh, we told him the story. Then he says, okay, I'll book you to go to the hospital so that you can have a scan. And that's what we did. He booked. After a week, I went there. And after that scan, which came after 2 weeks again, it was like, I was in pain that evening, Friday evening. I can still remember clearly. I didn't want to go to the doctors, but I had to call my son to say, please, can you call an ambulance? I'm in pain. I could feel like the pain on the chest here. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sit. I couldn't sleep. I mean, it was so excruciating. So I ended up saying, okay, please take me bring an ambulance so that I can go to the hospital. From 10 o'clock, I was in hospital. Around 5 a.m., the pain was excruciating. They gave me morphine, cocodone, and whatever. And still, I don't know what they ended up giving me to just subside the pain. And then after that, I think they found that it was cancer. But they were not sure. They didn't want to tell me, so they just gave me a room. After it, a few times, I mean, this nurse, I think they were suspecting, like the other doctor, that I had AIDS. So one nurse came in the room. They didn't give me anything. It's like it wasn't warm. They didn't give me a buzzer, no water, no painkillers. So I ended up phoning my son again because he was at home and said, please, can you come and take me? I want to die in my house rather than coming into the hospital and I die in hospital. So he ended up finding somebody who was in charge who came to speak to me. And I said, please, can you take me back? Then they ended up, I told them that the nurse came here. She was wearing a mask and I asked for water. I asked for a buzzer. I was feeling cold, but she just put the medication right at the edge. She was scared of coming near me. So what is the story? Anyway, to cut the story short, I went to the hospital. They found that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 4, and my daughter was with me. So when they found out, they told me that it was, they wanted to tell me. They said, "Oh, is this your daughter?" I said, "Yes." "Do you want her to go out so that we can tell you?" I said, "No, just tell me whatever it is." So they told me it was Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 4, and I said, "Oh, okay, I'm here now. I've come to look for you, so you need to do whatever you need to do." They started chemotherapy after a few days, and that was the deadliest thing which ever happened to me. Chemotherapy. Chemotherapy kills, and I'm so surprised when people tell me that they've been doing chemotherapy 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 11 years. That's powerful. I just found that, okay, what do I do? I stayed there, in and out of hospital. I even planned that if my daughter could get married, because she had like a boyfriend she had been going out with for a long time. I thought if they can get married, then I will die, and so my son will have a home with his sister. So I said to her, why are you thinking? What are you guys thinking? When are you getting married? My daughter was shocked. She said, "Mom, how can you ask me such a question when you are not well?" I said, no, I'm just thinking, you've been going out together 5 years after engagement. That's a long time. If you don't wait for me, you can do what you want. He says, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Yeah." "Okay, I called. Do you want to talk to dad?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be happy to say I'm giving my consent." So I did that. I went for the wedding, like the traditional marriage. It was at my house. I wish I could have shown you my picture. Next time I'll show you when on my daughter's wedding. It was painful. I was I didn't have any hair. I was wearing a duku, get you might know what I mean, a duku. And my lips were so red. I was so dark, and I didn't even. My eyes were so big and out like that. But I thought if I can just do that for my daughter, I'm there. She'll be happy that mom was there. So after that, I went back into hospital. I was worse than when I went out. I was sick. I couldn't eat now. I was, like doing everything on my own, just on myself. Peeing and number two, everything I was doing on myself. And I couldn't feed myself again. My daughter had to come and feed me and give me a wash because they were so busy in the hospital, in the ward where I was. And people were dying, right, front, and everywhere. And it's like, so one day there's a girl who died in the morning. She was around 40. I was in my 50s. Just 49, 50. When she died that morning, they said, "Selena, do you want to go in the side room where this person had died?" I was so scared. I thought I'm not going to come out. And as I was praying, the voice says, "There's nothing there. Nobody's in that room. She's gone, and the spirit doesn't stay in the room. It goes around, it floats. So why are you afraid?" So I thought, okay, I'll go. I went in. I changed my mind. In 2 hours, I said, okay, I'll go in the next room. No worry. They were shocked. How can you change your mind so fast? I said, no, I'll go in the room. She's not there anyway. So I stayed in the room, which was a blessing. I could pray, people could come and bring me food, whichever I wanted, because I wasn't eating the hospital food anymore. We had been, like researching with my daughter, and we had a doctor from Harare who had told me to say, stop meat, stop sugar, stop all the, like dairy products, and do some breathing in, exercises. Let air come in the lungs, because if you can't breathe, if there's pain in there, we need fresh air. We need to detoxify your body. So we started doing that. And then I think I had ulcers on my mouth, in my tongue, in my chest, on my throat. I couldn't swallow my own saliva. And a Friday, the doctors left me with nothing. They didn't give me a drip. They didn't do anything. And that's when I said, now I need to take my own health into my own hands. My sister told me about, she was in Zimbabwe, but she said, get some okra, ask your daughter to get some okra, cut it into small pieces and put it in hot water and drink. So she brought it. I told my daughter to go and look for that and cut it and bring in hot water. So I started, that weekend, I started drinking it. It's slimy, those who know it. When cooked or when we've placed it in hot water, it was so harsh. But I thought, okay, I was drinking water, I was drinking juice, I was drinking this okra. That really made me, like my body, my facial expressions, they changed. I became a different person just that weekend. And one nurse had the audacity of coming back and say, Selena, what did you do? And I said, why? Because you look so different. On Friday, when I went home, I thought about you and I knew we hadn't given you a drip. And I said, why were you thinking about me? It's because I was doing an understudy on you to see how people react when they're given chemotherapy. I'm doing my degree in oncology. And I thought, without even my permission, you couldn't even tell me. Then she said, no, it was fine. I said they wanted me after a few weeks, I just kept on doing what I was doing. There was that great change. And then they said, oh no, there's some traces of cancer. Can you do radiotherapy? And I said, no. What's the difference? Why do what's the reaction? What am I going to is it going to change? Is it going to heal me? Then they said 50-50. And I said, oh no. Then they sent me to another specialist, a big doctor of the two hospitals or the West Midlands doctors. She sat me down and said, if you don't take radiotherapy, you're going to die. And I said, Doc, are you serious? Are you not going to die? And she says, oh, yes, I will die, but then we will give you more days, more years. Maybe you will see, maybe live 2 years more rather than now you're going to die. And that's when I said, no, leave me alone. If I die with what I'm doing now, I'll be happy rather than me dying taking more chemicals. So she just said, okay, I'll give you my card. If ever you feel like you want to come back, just give us ring. I said, okay, I pray I won't give you a ring. So went home, and that's when we started the serious regime. Me drinking smoothies 5 days on a row. Just smoothie morning, smoothie evening, afternoon, every time. Then I went into eating salsa at 11:03 because I'd lost so much weight. And then I was started to walk. My son would take me to the gym. The doctors had said, don't go where a lot of people are. Otherwise, because of your immune system is so low, you can't do it. But God has been so faithful. Even my ex used to visit me in hospital and he would say, no, because I wanted just to support you so that the kids will know that I'm there for you. And my brother, I have got a brother lives near me. Every time he would pick a phone and talk to people at home after visiting me, say, I don't think she's going to survive tomorrow. I don't think tomorrow when I go, she will be alive. And I thought, no, I'm going to live. I'm not going to die. I didn't bring my kids into the UK for me to die and leave them here. Who are they going to be with? I have to be there. My mother died when I was young and nobody ever looked after me. And women will say, we'll look after your children, but they never keep their promises. So I'm not going to die. I will live until I've seen them grow, until I've seen my grandchildren. So it was just like I was really fighting. I was so, like focused, and I was so fearless, and I'm going to speak my mind. And I did. 18 months after that, I managed to come out of hospital. They managed to give me a certificate that will discharge you. Because after going out every 2 months, then after every 3 months, after 6 months, I was still going. They want to take the bloods. It's like it's so tiring. But I just think, if we just decide to take life into our own hands, that's going to be brilliant. I want to urge people to say, keep focused. Look after what God says. God says, I have given you the herbs of the field. Those are going to be meat unto you. Not the meat we get, which is full of chemicals. The chicken they inject, the cattle or cows they inject. Is it good for the temple of God? Not at all. And then it destroys the mind. You can't think properly. You can't, like, I still struggle talking because of chemotherapy. Because I lost all the sense. I couldn't talk. I couldn't make words. I couldn't make sentences. It just killed me. But I'm just so grateful that because of the tenacity, because of the courage that I knew I had, there are people out there who need to hear me. And one doctor said to me, what did you do? Because when you come here, when you came into the hospital, we thought you were just another story. And I said, no, I changed my lifestyle. He said, why don't you write a book? So I wrote a book, I think, because I didn't realize I was going. I left it upside. It's called My Pain, My Teacher, which you can find on Amazon. My Pain, My Teacher. It's just the story of, the support, the people who were around me, how they supported me, how they encouraged me. They would come, some would come. One friend I remember came from Switzerland. She came and stayed with my kids 4 days, 5 days, and she was reading for me, praying with me, just nurturing me. What I'm saying is just let's be there, let's stand for each other, let's support each other. As women, we don't have to hesitate if somebody needs us, but then you have to trust. Think about the people, the group of people in your life. Are they going to, like discourage you? Are they going to support you, cheer you on up? Just saying, yes, you can do this. We can do this together. Because that's what we need as women. We need each other. I'm so grateful that, up to this day, I became a coach, a health coach. Because I thought if I can just help one person, that will make a tremendous change in my life. If I can just encourage one woman, that you have the power within you, that you have it. You don't have to ask the doctor, doctor, I feel this way. What can I do? I didn't know that food is my medicine. I know now that food is medicine. As long as I feed my body with what it needs, the nutrients which are necessary for it, as long as I remove, because let's say you've got a car, if you don't take it for MOT for them to remove the old engine, for them to just to clean the engine, the car will slow down, the car will pack up. This is an engine inside us. It needs to be, cleaned. It needs to be restarted.
Oh, Selena, Selena, Selena. Your story is incredible. And I have so many questions. Number one, how old were your kids when you were going through all of this?
My daughter was 20. Now she's 34. She was 28.
Mm.
And the youngest?
My son was 26.
And another miracle story. Your story and Vicky's are so similar.
Mm.
That will to live, that tenacity was really for your children. That's why you're still here. They were the reason that made you wake up every day and just keep going.
Yes.
Absolutely miraculous story.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think what is really being identified is it takes a lot of courage to go, wouldn't say against the system as such, but to have the courage to really go within and listen and turn up the volume of what you knew to be your truth and the things that have always guided you to this point. Why would all of a sudden it not guide you and completely disappear off the landscape in such a critical time? So the only person that could turn the volume up on that in amongst what was going on was you. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of what you said, as you said, tenacity, because a lot of other people would be living in a space of fear.
Yeah.
No doubt your children, because they don't want to lose mum. The people around you that would just go, oh, chemo's your best option. But for you, and for many people, yes, it is. Yes, it is. But certainly, I must admit, again, as a nurse, it's that double-edged sword. You're putting poison and toxicity in your body to eradicate a growth that has potential to kill someone. So it's very hard to kind of grapple with that, and the side effects. What you describe are insane.
So tell us a little bit about the major changes you did to your diet. Do you eat meat? Do you, or have you cut that all out of your
No,
diet?
during the time I was having chemotherapy, or after I had chemotherapy, I took some years without eating meat. And when I went through, I mean, I don't eat meat as such. Sometimes if I have a small piece, just a small piece like that, because sometimes meat is nice. Come on, I just feel the taste of meat is just like sometimes if I eat now just a piece, I feel fulfilled. I can go for a
Okay.
month without it or 2 months without, but I cook.
Okay.
Mm.
So vegetables are your thing now?
I grow vegetables in my garden. I
Okay,
I
beautiful.
just taught me to grow my own vegetables.
Yeah, yeah,
And what is it with
absolutely.
the okra?
Sorry?
You mentioned that it was the okra that you had in that really critical time.
Yeah.
Okra. What is
Okra.
it in that you're aware of that is quite medicinal?
There's a lot of like medicinal, things in okra. There is vitamins. There is I mean, I can say most of the whatever vital nutrients you can find in any, they're there. But then the easiest thing for me, which why it was so crucial, is because I couldn't swallow. So
Yeah,
okra, when it's just like water, it's very slimy.
Just slides
slides
down.
So
in,
it slides in.
easy to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the nutrients which were in there started helping me.
Mm,
It was
amazing.
more food than water.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
And then like the smoothies, I would make smoothies with spinach, kale, or then the fruits like the strawberries, blueberries, because those are good for your immune system. And that's the most important thing I started doing, rebuilding my immune system.
Immune system, yeah.
Because I started good, like if I go out, it was easy for me to catch flu, to catch a cold. And so when I started rebuilding my immune system, so I learned if I have to first let me detoxify, remove all the chemicals. I couldn't wear earrings before. Even before I had cancer, I couldn't wear earrings. I could react. But now I can wear earrings.
Yeah.
My wedding rings, I used to itch. I used to have like dark, around my fingers. But when I started, like doing that, nothing.
Everything's gone.
It's
So it
like,
sounds like you flushed everything out of your system in that recovery.
yes. And
Wow.
now it's like it's a process because I still eat food, which I'm not sure they are free chemicals or free of
Mm,
chemicals.
mm.
So it's like after, that's why I fast 7 days.
to flush everything out.
Yeah, I do just survive on water for 7 days, day
Mm.
in, day out. I don't say in the evening I will eat. I just go on water, and then afterwards I really like get something to cook to cleanse my colon,
Hmm.
and then afterwards then I eat vegetables. I eat slowly,
So
very
how often
slowly.
do you do your 7-day fasts?
I do 4 times a year,
Okay,
quarterly.
every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice.
Another amazing survival story, just very, very inspiring.
Mm.
Renee,
I'm
what's
like,
on your
I'm
mind?
speechless. Look, I'm speechless. Believe that or not, I'm speechless. This story is amazing. I think the thing that really like kind of stuck with me is I'm not a mom. I don't have any children biologically. I have people who have attached themselves to me and call me mom or auntie or whatever have you, but I never was blessed to have my own. But when I listen to your story and Vicky's story and talk about how you all, you know, selfless, and I think this is what most mothers do, true mothers, because there are people out there who birth children and I don't think they should have them, but that's another story for another day. um I think that the fact being that you really put self first, meaning that whatever you had to go through to survive, to make it happen, to make me want whatever chances of survival that I was going to have, I was going to take it come hell or high water, no matter what it entailed. You decide to do it, and then to push through and go to your daughter's wedding and things like that. It meant a lot to me. It brings me back to memories of my mom. My mom, try not to cry. She'll be gone 5 years in March, and she passed away from pancreatic cancer. And it was very, very quick for her. First of all, she was in her 70s, and she had other ailments as well. So we all know, like Marianne said, being a nurse, you know, you're putting poison in your system to try to combat something. So it kills everything, good and bad bacteria, good
Yeah,
and
it
bad
does.
whatever. So when my mom found out, she looked at me and I told her, I said, hey, you know, you've lived a full life. If you don't want to do this, if you don't want to go through it, it's your decision. But she looked at me and was like, I got to keep going for you and your father, period. So, you know, the end result was she was supposed to have this major surgery that was going to be like 7 or 8 hours long. However, she had to do like 2 rounds of chemo first. Well, she only made it through one round. The chemo actually, like, I think me personally, I believe the chemo is what killed my mom,
Yes.
because after doing her first round, she wasn't able to bounce back. She wasn't able. Her white cell counts were always extremely high. She was always catching some type of infection. And it's a catch-22. I miss my mom. Wish she was here. However, the last couple months, so I had to put her in a nursing facility. And I told y'all I don't look good in prison orange. COVID would have hit and they would have told me I couldn't go see my mom and y'all wouldn't know me. Because I promise you, I'd have flipped the nursing home and everybody else, because you're not gonna tell me I can't see my mom. I don't care how, you know, what y'all try to do, whatever have you. But that's the type of relationship me and my mom had. But I think just because she said, that's what resonated with your story with me. She was like, she looked at me and said, I gotta do this. I gotta do everything I possibly can so I could be here for you. And I'm grown, like grown, like so grown. I
But
just,
you're still her baby. You are still
Yeah.
her
Always a
baby.
and
baby.
so
Thing
that's
about
the stuff.
motherhood.
Yes, ma'am. And that's the stuff that resonates with me when I talk to mothers and people who go through stuff. Like a lot of times, um, they don't do it for self. Like I can't sit up here and say what my real reason was for trying to stay around after being shot, other than trying to prove a point to my ex-husband that I was still here. I but actually like trying to say that I had like a desire to live for someone else. I can't say that I had that.
Mm.
So that speaks volumes.
Man, so many inspiring women we are graced with. Thank you so much, Selena.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Beautiful.
awesome to
Thank
hear your
you.
Now
story
you can take a
today.
nap.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Now
late
you
over there.
Now you can take a nap.
Now I can go to sleep.
now you can go to sleep. Thank you, Selena. We'll
Wow.
see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same
See.
time, same place.
Now you send me a link if you
I'll do it
because
first thing in the morning. I think Ruth has already created them. I'll send it to you on Facebook.
okay, dear.
All right. Take
Thank
care.
you, Selena.
All right.
Bye.
Appreciate
Bye.
Thank
you
you.
sharing.
God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh,
Bye.
wow. What do we
All
have
right.
next, Marianne?
Okay. All right, folks. We have next Paula Finnegan. We have a 3-minute video from Paula. I think, Renee, you got that one.
Yes, ma'am. About to do it right now.
Beautiful. There's some real common themes coming in through today. A lot about taking responsibility for your own health, that you have the power within. And there is so much research now, good, solid research done that any of you can have a look at. All right, here we go. Looking forward to hearing Paula. Renee, you got the sound?
Renee, there's no sound.
And that was me.
Can you hear it
That's what I
now?
wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's what I
Okay.
thought, oh,
Start
wouldn't
the
that be
video
amazing?
again.
Oh, then the sound's gone.
It's interesting. Now we have no sound, Renee. Let me see if I can pick it up from here, Renee.
Idea of travel. And I was very, very fortunate when I was 13 to be able
Renee?
to
I'm
go on
not
an
sure.
educational cruise.
Let me show it from here.
I don't know, maybe because it's a Google Drive, maybe it has to be YouTube, because you heard my video, right? When you did my video.
Yeah, let me see if I have it here. I'll play it from this end.
Okay.
Hello, my name's Paula Finnegan, and it's lovely to be here today and to be able to speak to you all. And I'd like to tell you my story. I was a young child at 7 years old who absolutely loved the idea of travel. And I was very, very fortunate when I was 13 to be able to go on an educational cruise. I got to go all around the Mediterranean, and I came back on a flight and I saw these cabin crew, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And that was me. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I thought, oh, wouldn't that be amazing? And I went back to school and I spoke to my careers teacher, and my careers teacher said, get your head down out of the clouds. People like you just don't do that. And thankfully, I took no notice of that, and that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I was very fortunate to be able to do. After a lot of work at school, I managed to be able to then join the airlines, and through going through one airline and another, I eventually got to fly long haul, and I got to live my dream. It was absolutely amazing. I had a ball. It was very hard work, and it was very demanding on your body, and that eventually catches up with you. And I found a lot of my crew colleagues were constantly tired. You're going from one time zone to another. You're having very little time at home in between, and it takes its toll on the body. And I found a lot of friends that got chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. And I got very interested in the health side of things and what was causing it. Some people are not causing it in the other. And I started to study nutrition. I studied reflexology, and I just wanted to be able to help my colleagues. And then the pandemic hit. And with the pandemic, the airlines were hugely, hugely affected. And it gave me an opportunity with a big push to go and step out into the wellbeing arena. So I retrained as a wellbeing coach, and I did some specialist practitioner knowledge for chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. Because are you one of those people that does everything for everybody else? You never have time for yourself. You always say yes when really you want to say no. You wouldn't dream of saying no because you don't want people to think that maybe you're not good enough, you're lazy or what have you. Are you sleeping in at weekends just in order to catch up? Are you thinking, great, I'll go to the gym and I'll get some energy back that way? Or you start on a vitamin program, or you start having all your energy drinks to make you feel better, and you're just not there. Well, I'm here to reassure you that there is a recovery pathway. You can find your way back. And now I'm able to, with the help of a chrysalis effect pathway, as a well-being coach, I'm able to help you find that way back that's appropriate for you. And looking at your diet, looking at your lifestyle, looking at all the things that came up that triggered you to go that way, and then to help you find the right pathway back out that is available to you. So if that's something that interests you and you'd like to know more, I'd love to be able to hear from you, hear what all your experiences in life and that are. Maybe we can even share a few experiences. And if I can help support you along the way, then please do contact me. Lovely to speak to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paula. I love hearing how people end up finding the path that they end up on. And who knew the seed was planted at 7 years old, and then to progress into actually pursuing that, drowning out the voices, just turning the volume down of the voices around you. That's a little bit tenacious as a young thing. And said, yep, you can have what you think. I'm doing what I think, and ended up in the airlines and had a blast. But it was because of what you were noticing, Paula, that sparked you to really explore that wellness arena and what value you're adding out there. So really appreciate you sharing your story, and no doubt we should be able to have a link to be able to find you and your gorgeous work. Beautiful. Anything you'd like to add?
That was a good presentation, Paula. Thank you for sharing that with us. I think Paula might be coming to the summit later in the week or next month. So we'll get a longer presentation from her, but she just wanted to share with us this morning. So it looks like our next speaker has arrived. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Introduce yourself before we play your video.
Hello there. My name is Saleha Self, and I have an organization called HerStory. I'm a freedom, trauma, and expressive coach. Nice to be on here.
Welcome.
How you going?
To see you again.
Thank you so
much. So we'll play
your
video, and then we'll bring the panel on, and we are going to ask you questions, and we'll have a fireside chat with you after we've watched the video.
Beautiful.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To receive pleasure. What does it mean to be a sexual sovereign person? The first time it happened, actually, this person who was my father, or supposed to be my father, grabbed my hand, and I remember having my little pink teddy, and my brother was actually being born, and my mother was in the hospital with my brother, and I was led into my stepfather's bedroom, put into this bed, and then I got into bed and I had my pink teddy, and he said, just lie still, it's okay. And he proceeded to get my little tiny hand and put it around his penis and make these weird movements. I was very, very scared. I had no idea what was going on, but it felt wrong. Sorted himself out, grabbed my little hand, took me back to my bedroom, and left me. I was 8, and I really believe I was brought into this world to help people find true intimacy with themselves, because I learned the art of forgiveness and compassion at a very, very young age. That journey would continue till I was about 13 years of age. It escalated and escalated, and I was given alcohol at the age of 10, and I was allowed to smoke. And this person created this roller coaster childhood for me. I was lost. I was suffering from childhood PTSD that I now know. I went through years and years of different addictions: sexual addiction, alcohol, drugs, anorexia, bulimia. This took me easily onto my adolescence and my teenage years and my young woman. Lost, trying to understand, rebellious, but I didn't really know what intimacy was, and I didn't know that not to have sex. I was having sex at 14. I was drinking in bars and clubs. I was taking drugs because my internal guidance system was messed up. My inner child was so broken, and it was a secret, and everything was a secret in my life. And I lost my virginity to that man. And then because of these situations and because I didn't love myself, I progressed all the way through my life attracting toxic relationships, people that would beat me, people that would rape me. My grief, really, for all the trauma that I'd attracted. I always had lots of men around me, but the wrong kind of men. The men that just demanded that I always give because I didn't love myself. So I didn't know how to receive, but I was really good at giving. And I actually went from one extreme when I went to this loveless, sexless marriage. And then I had my 2 beautiful babies. And as soon as I had my children, I realized that what I was in was not love. And I left that marriage at my 40th birthday. And that was the catalyst for change. This was where I went, right, this is it. I'm going to leave a legacy for my babies. I'm going to do something that I feel so passionate and important in my life. Always learning and developing myself and going to different programs and reading books and trying to understand myself unconsciously. I loved music, I loved dance, and that was my therapy, and it's kind of what got me into my body, because for so many years I was so disconnected from my body. I was disconnected from my yoni, I was disconnected from my breasts, I was disconnected just disconnected and disassociated. I couldn't receive pleasure. I knew that healing wasn't just a talk therapy. I knew healing was like a mind, body, soul process. I knew that creativity and imagination and attunement were all part of our healing journey. And it was necessary for us to feel whole and complete. So I became a social worker. I did my postgraduate degree in creative arts, trauma therapies. I became a tantra practitioner. I did breath work. I did mindfulness, meditation. I hired coaches for 6 months. I did extensive work, and I knew that this is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be that person coaching. I wanted to empower people to show them how much potential they had in them, that they were not their trauma, that they were so much more than that. And so this is why I'm here today. I'm here to help people face off with their shame and guilt and their fear and break out of that self-contained prison that we put ourselves in. My name is Saleya, and this is my story.
Oh, wow.
Powerful stuff, Saleya.
Yeah, thank you. I was just thinking, when I'm going for that, it's like the journey, yeah?
Yeah, and really appreciate your vulnerability and total honesty there's a lot in that, and that's a lot to be able to share out there. And what I heard was that you identified that the key part that was missing, that self-love, was the antidote to you being able to live a life that felt, it was fulfilling, which obviously then sent you on that pathway of what is now total self-love, very fulfilling, and now being able to give out. Can I ask you, the beautiful people that you get to coach, that you get to be a part of their lives and help, What are you finding in regards to that body disconnect is something that really resonates with them? Is it the dance? Is it their sort of just personal intimacy? What is it that actually resonates with them to kind of connect back into their bodies?
I think it is just like the whole process of learning to be in your body and also understanding when you're not in your body and what part of your body is numb. I think that's like, when something becomes noticed, then it becomes out into the open. And that is like shame and guilt anyway. So when we go through so much trauma, we literally disconnect. We can't feel ourselves. And receiving self-love is like pleasure. It's like receiving pleasure and being okay with enjoyment and play and happiness. And I think anyone that's gone through a trauma, especially sexual trauma, you forget that joy and pleasure are our innate, it's our God-given right to have pleasure. We have nerve endings everywhere that are sort of for pleasure zones. And so this is it, like understanding where you're not, where you can't feel your body, where you are numb, and then working with that and really getting into your body in whatever way that is. And it might not be dance. As I said, dance is my medicine, but it could be breath work. It could just be meditation. It could be just journaling. It could be so many different things to really connect with the unconscious. And then as soon as you become aware of that, then you really start feeling your body and feeling what's going on in your heart and your brain. Our brain and our heart are connected. It's like our brain goes to our heart and then our heart goes to our body. So it's like a whole person approach. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So for me, it's just noticing what's numb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it's taken years and years to be in that place through all that trauma, post-trauma, etc., I love too that, it's not, the old sort of thought was it's just going to take just as long to unravel. So you're up for a heck of a journey. And I think now with, people are sort of exploring other ways other than traditional counseling.
Yeah.
And so for you to be out there on that kind of platform and helping in what you do, I think people realize, there is a faster way to, I don't have to, and they can start to see a brighter future much more rapidly. And again, going inside, looking within.
Going inside, looking within. Yeah. Don't look out there, go within. Yes.
Nice.
And I think, because I do counseling as well. And I think I do a whole, like I consider everything. Just the body, I suppose, just really acknowledging what's going on with the body and not disconnected. I think that's the thing. The shame and guilt is given permission to speak, to share that story, to share what's going on, because that is shame and guilt. Even the numbness is shame and guilt. Yes. And really being courageous with connecting with that and connecting with our shadow side as well, connecting with the bad and the good and making it a flow, as in not trying to stop pain. It's actually to work yourself through the pain, face it, acknowledge it, and in whatever loving space that is, it is about sort of just being at peace with what is going on in the way you can and working through, and flowing through, because it's always going to be with you. I think if whatever trauma you have is always there, and it all will continue to be. This is where you get your creative resilience. Yeah. This is where you get all your beautiful gifts and when those vulnerable times come into play, that's when you step forward and you go, I've got the resilience here to work through it. So
yeah. And I think the ultimate on that journey is to get to a place when that vulnerability, when that trauma gets triggered, that there's a feeling of not feeling charged by it. It doesn't create a bodily reaction charge.
Yeah, exactly.
You can stay present with whatever else is going on. You have the awareness, but to reach a point where you feel uncharged from it, and that you are then available to go for the lessons, to go for the gifts, you've searched through all that rubble and you've been able to pull out those nuggets. And hopefully for people that they're able then to go back and on some level have some appreciation for those traumas, because they wouldn't be where they are now, but it's our job to go for that. So you're facilitating that. So appreciation for the work you're doing.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely about regulating. Yeah.
Yeah. Renee. Oh.
Hi, Renee.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
You like to add?
All these stories are amazing. I mean, it's just one thing after another. Everything that comes to mind is resilience, because everything we go through in life, people who have stories like ours, resilience stands out. So I thank you for sharing your story. I thank you for your resilience. I thank you for your transparency and for just being able to come and share your truth. I know that many people will be transformed and changed because of just the information that you're giving. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think it is I like to say the creative resilience, because I really believe that we disconnect from our creativity and our imagination when we go through trauma. And it is about giving ourselves permission to play, to receive, to be enjoyed, and to figure that journey out. Yeah. In whatever way you can. So yeah, I agree. It's, I feel passionate. Yeah.
Keep it.
Leia, one of the things that is sad is that your story is a very common story for women.
Yeah.
This is a story that repeats in every country, in every culture. But I think what you have done is almost giving permission to other people who have gone through a similar experience to just be able to talk about it.
Yeah, huge.
In Africa, we don't have psychiatrists, we don't have counselors. If a woman gets raped, if she's sexually molested, your relief comes in talking to the women in the community.
Yeah.
We actually believe that a problem shared is a problem halved, that the minute you share the story, you're not carrying it alone anymore.
100%, Gertrude. Like that is it. And even community, yes. Like for me, I will say, in a lot of the Western societies, we're so used to isolating ourselves and individualizing ourselves. And for me, like tribe community is the healing as well. Like it's so powerful, and it is. I feel that's what's needed in this world. It's more community. So what is it? It's a 1 in 3, I think. It's a 1 in 3 percentage. It's massive, yeah. And also men go through this as well. And this is a lot of my work as well, is allowing men to be vulnerable and emotional, and creating space for that capacity where they, because we've got a lot of toxic masculinity per se in the world. I really avoid that word, but that is, but we're both masculine, feminine anyway. So it's kind of like working with the feminine and masculine consistently. Yeah. But men, men definitely experience trauma as well. Yeah. It's, but yeah, it is. It's a massive issue. Yeah. Yeah.
It's how do we deal with it? How do we work with it? How do we survive after? Like you said, the biggest thing, of course, is the shame.
Huge. And I think
women blame themselves for what happened to them when they were children.
Yeah. And depending on what environment, like, even in our outer environment of what was shown to us about women and the environment we grew in, whether it was trauma or not, there are so many dynamics that come into play with why things happen, in poverty, and it's ongoing. Like my mission is to set up rehabilitation centers for sexually trafficked victims. Like that's my goal in life. Yeah. So, and to use this creative method of like working with creativity and body work and counseling and all these different modalities to like work the trauma through, so that it's not just stuck here. We have to move it through our body, I believe. So
and one of the things that I really took away from you when you said that you can't push the sadness away. I read a book once that said our emotions are like our children. When they come, we have to just sit with them. It has to work through us. Otherwise, it gets stuck, and then it manifests in all these diseases as well.
Yeah, 100%.
It's stuck in your body.
I'm sure you're aware of the book, The Body Keeps Score. So even, especially at such a young age, there is no even though there's that sense of, you know, that something doesn't feel right, it feels wrong, the articulation, the ability to cognitively process what's happened, and perhaps people that are in your world that can actually help you, often that's not available. So you shut down, but the body keeps score, and you think that, you know, we are, everywhere you talk, it's different, but 7 trillion cells within your body, and with all of them having a cellular memory. That, again, as you mentioned, Gertrude, either transmutes in time into illness, into mental disorder, all those sorts of things. And so being able to have a channel in which to express it and to transmute it and to change that imprint, that's when the change starts to.
That's where the healing starts. Hey.
And I said, like, our brain is like a house, yeah. So you've got the basement and the attic, and when you have trauma, it gets stuck in the basement, and it doesn't have access to the other parts of the brain. And so, so, you know, mobility, imagination, using our other alternatives to deal with the trauma gets looped. We get stuck in that basement, and we can't get out of it. And when we're young, childhood trauma, we don't know how to articulate the trauma. We don't even know, you know, we don't know the words to verbalize, especially childhood trauma. You know, you're dealing with people that you know, you're dealing with people that you love, that are your safe house. So, and I didn't even realize alexithymia, you know, where I would confuse the emotions, because I'd been brought up with, I actually experienced 3 sexual traumas as a child. One was severe with my stepfather, but one was my next door neighbor, and one was a childhood friend. I had lots of trauma around me. And so these were people that I trusted. So my whole internal dialogue of emotions got confused. I didn't understand my emotions. So when I was sad, I thought I was actually happy, because my internal adrenaline, I was dysregulated. So I would be activated, but because these were people around me and I loved them, I thought this was happiness. And this was one of my biggest breakthroughs in life, is that massive heart rate, that anxiety, that high adrenaline fatigue was not happiness. It was overdrive. It was my body saying, help, you know, get out. But I couldn't, because I was a child, you know. So that's been massive for me, like people understanding what alexithymia is, especially in trauma. Like when you do that and you connect that, oh my gosh, like I've gone through my life living on that adrenaline focus, and it is like, that is the opposite of what it is, because the trauma's taken over. So for me, and I think, you know, just becoming doing the training I've done, that was my inner work as well, because then I began to understand, like, you know, the micro, the meso, the macro perspective of everything. And then that's how I began my forgiveness journey, which again can't be rushed. Like, you can't rush forgiveness. It is an ongoing journey forever.
And there's that step on from forgiveness, that there's a saying that you can't forgive something that you value. If someone gives you a diamond, I'm not going to forgive you for giving me a diamond, because that's
it's powerful, that is.
So that level of, you know what, in this game called life, I am not excluded from a journey that will include some form of trauma that we will all experience to varying degrees. And sadly, childhood trauma is obviously one of the biggest traumas you can experience. So given that we're human, we signed up for something, and our job is to move into a place where we can look for the diamonds in that, so that we can go on and do great stuff like what you're doing. And so part of that forgiveness journey is being able to go for that diamond. And now it's like, I don't condone anything that went on, clearly, but I am able to liberate from that and help to liberate others. And so for that, there's the gratitude and the appreciation for it there.
100%. Like, and depending, you know, what you believe, why you come here, you know, you're like, oh, okay, I come here to learn these lessons and these experiences to get to the other side. And so, very powerful. I like the diamond analogy. I really like that, because it's really true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love.
And you've
I love it.
transmuted that pain into something beautiful, especially in helping others who have gone through the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really commend you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just that permission.
Amazing.
Yeah, because when I think the permission is when you say what you said earlier on, it's a high percentage of people who experience trauma. So when you take away that, not that God, we wish that wasn't the case. Yes.
Yeah.
But when you take that away and you go, you know what, you are not that. You are so not that. You are this. Yeah.
So much
Yeah.
more.
So much more. So much more.
Yeah.
And it's powerful how it takes you, because it takes you on these different journeys of addiction and disconnection. And oh my gosh, because it is this, God, people used to say the self-love journey to me. And I used to go like, oh, self-love. And then I'm like, it's self-love. It's all about self-love, because it was so overused. And until you really understand it, it's like, oh my God, it's all there is love. Underneath everything is love. And, and it is the self-love journey. It's the self-love journey. So, yeah.
And if I could add to that in terms of that self-love, it's, I think there becomes this sort of sublime belief that we're, can just be in just a mediocre kind of life, that there's maybe some parts kind of going okay and there's other parts that are pretty not good, and maybe there's one area of my life that's great, but then there's this, you know what, you just have to look at the natural environment and see its abundance and its magnificence. And it's like, did all that get created so I could just kind of live a kind of a half life? So buying into the belief that, you know what, actually, I deserve abundance. I deserve a great life. I deserve to feel valued. I deserve to feel I'm living my best. I deserve to feel like a great mum. I deserve, et cetera, et cetera. And when you really start to buy into I found when I sort of just said that as a mantra with everything, I deserve to enjoy this interaction with my children and not feel I've got to be doing something else. I deserve to share my voice. I deserve to do this. It really kind of just shows up where I create the excuse not to deserve.
And scarcity is shown to us all the time, isn't it? It's constantly mirrored back to why we don't deserve something. So yes, that simple thing of nature, of walks, of birds. I literally, the gratitude that I take every day, every time before I go to bed, every night, without fail. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Even for me, running water, I don't know, electricity, running water, like my bed, there's people that are homeless at the moment. And I'm like, so every night, my gratitude is, that's one of my biggest practices that it's been, even, the Honopono, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. I don't know how many times I've said that. And I'm like, I will continue to say it when I'm faced with situations and challenging situations in my mind, I'm saying it, because I don't want to think, because I believe that mindset is scarcity as well, when you're thinking bad, and we all think bad and we all do things that we're not proud of, but it's that learning for me, just forgive and be with, gratitude. And the scarcity is, I think that's what I say about being a sexual sovereign being. It is about understanding that you are here for play and pleasure and abundance and prosperity, and whatever word you want to use. We are here for that. Yes, we're here to learn some of the challenges in order to get to that point, but underneath it all, we're here to enjoy and be, so I think huge. I think that's my whole journey, is the creativity, imagination, play, that is a prosperity that gives you pleasure and happiness, and finding it in those little, like even dancing. I dance. Ask my kids. I'm all music is blasting all the time in my house. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I got music blasting. I am dancing. I am loud. That is my medicine, that's what. And if I'm in a crappy mood, that's what'll get me out. I'm like, I'll be putting some tunes on and I'll be dancing just for me, because that's my calling. So it's like, and that alone, just being in your body, then you start to really be in your body. You're like, wow, And for some other people, it's different, you know. Some people do art, sing. My daughter sings, you know, my daughter has this beautiful voice. And so that's her healing medicine that we've all, I truly believe we've all been given like specific gifts, and that is up to us to home in on those and
When we
be with
need them.
those. Oh, you know.
Yeah.
But even
Gorgeous.
just parrots, I don't know. I live in Australia, yes. Every day, those bloody parrots wake me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And every day, I'm like, I love those bloody parrots, because they wake me up. But I love the fact that I put food out for them. So there's always like tons of them coming down in the morning. It's my fault, but I love it. You know, it's like I love them. But yeah.
And it's our job to recognize that and connect with it instead of staying stuck in the bloody parrot.
Yeah.
The bloody parrots, I love them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What you just said then is staying in it. Yeah, that is a journey. How knowing that you're always going to be with it, but learning how quick you can get through it or work through it, not ignore it. Okay, I'm coming up with something. Let's, you know, how long am I going to allow this to take over me?
To take over.
You know, so that I can like, okay, acknowledge, observe, move through, and then, you know, and that's the journey, I think, with everyone. It doesn't have to be trauma, I think, in every situation.
It's different for each person.
100%. Like, it's so different. We're all unique and we're all the same, yeah?
Yeah, beautiful. So many nuggets in what you've been saying. Yeah, really appreciate you sharing.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Have a nice day. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow.
Okay.
So, interesting day. Different stories.
Really, really powerful. Really, really powerful. Very common thread is a lot of courage, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And tenacity and resilience. Okay, so we have our next speaker coming up. I believe it's, am I saying it correctly? Ewelina?
Yes, so she's Polish and the W is spelled as a V, so it's Ewelina.
Ewelina Kozłowska?
Yes.
Yes, I got it.
Get her video going. She's an amazing artist. So here we go.
Video? Great.
Hello, greetings. My name is Ewelina Kaszykowska. I am 40 years old. I live in the Wrocław area of Poland. And my story begins at birth. I was born as a baby wrapped in a caul. So it's a baby born within the embryonic sac. And that's really where my whole story of becoming an artist also begins. I started to draw and paint at a very young age. We immigrated from Poland to America when I was 3 years old, and we lived in the New York City area. And basically, I just had a pretty reclusive lifestyle as a child, since we were the first generation of our family to immigrate. And I drew a lot, I painted a lot, and that's where my talent began to develop. From there, I started to do more drawings from my imagination. I painted very, very illustrative images, and then I started doing watercolors, realistic watercolors. I took images from mostly National Geographic, and I was replicating them, and I developed my skills mostly from practice. I just painted and drew a lot. And I was doing a lot of writing and diaries and developing ideas. I knew from a very young age that this was my calling, this was my direction in life, this is what I'm going to be doing. And I early on got awards for my work. I got into the Butler Museum of Art in Ohio at the age of, I think, 15. And then I just continued to develop my skills. And I got a full scholarship to the Columbus College of Art and Design. It's a 4-year program where I studied illustration, and I learned about some interesting illustrators at the time. Mark Ryden was doing work in America with pop surrealism, and then I really started to do more illustrative work, and I went away from that sort of realism, reproduction of images. And I got into that scene quite heavily as I started having shows in Brooklyn, in LA, in certain galleries, and it was mostly work from my imagination. They were oil paintings, and they were quite large scale, some of them, and I got involved in studying a lot about Buddhism, and so I was doing images about Buddhists' sort of philosophy. No, I wasn't a Buddhist, but I was really, really interested in some different philosophies. I was doing a lot of studying on meditation and doing a lot of yoga. So I wanted to bring that into my work. But then when I traveled to Asia, I took a hiatus from doing all the shows. And it was a pivotal moment for me because I stepped away from my work and I got to think about really what it is that I want to represent in my work and how technically I want to approach that. So I had about 3 months time where I really started to go inside myself, because in Asia there are many different religions practiced there, and I realized that because I wasn't immersed in that sort of culture all of my life, I felt hypocritical talking about it. So I essentially stood back, and I had to go deep within myself and realize that I want to talk about my birth, how I was born, how it's rare to be born within a call, and what that signifies in my life now. And that's when I discovered that really we all have these veils, and it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative connotation to that, but basically we're as we're going through life, we're unveiling ourselves. And that's something that really touched me to the core, this sort of unveiling, like whether we're hiding ourselves or whether we're opening up or whether we're, throwing the veil somewhere. So the veil is a significant symbol in my work. I realized that there's a lot of sort of negative connotations with the veil throughout history, which I have studied. But I want to bring the veil into a new light. I want to bring it into a light that it's almost like our aura. It changes. I see it as almost like a spiritual, like gaseous element that surrounds us, and we're working with that constantly. So that's my number one inspiration for my work.
Well, I have gone online and literally cyber stalked you. I have seen some of your pieces. Your work is absolutely exquisite and
thank you.
Very, very inspiring. Now, in Africa, we believe that a baby that is born with the embryonic sac around them,
yes,
does develop very, very intuitive gifts. In Africa, they're very spiritual people. They can see into other dimensions. They get visions. What has been the experience for you, and how is that influencing your life?
Definitely. I feel very intuitive. I've always followed my heart, always. And I feel that I have some kind of psychic abilities. I wouldn't say that I'm psychic, but I definitely feel deeply, and I sense things that, maybe other people aren't sensing. So I like to bring that into my work, because I do make social commentary within the context of my work. And it's usually, I might have a certain thing that I would like to say, express, and then what I really want is for my audience to bring to the work whatever they need to receive from it, because it really is, you know, a give and take. It's a dynamic that I think is very important. I can't tell somebody what my work is about exactly, because I want them to receive what they need from it, or what they want to get from it.
So the person who is viewing your work will interpret whatever that piece of art means to them, correct?
Yes, that's very important for me. Yes.
Now, not everybody gets to know what their gifts are at a very young age. You were blessed to have found it, to have found your calling at a very young age.
Yes.
Did your family settings, your environment have anything to do with that? Were your parents creative as well? Who fostered the creativity in you?
Both of my parents are very creative individuals in different ways. My mom loves fashion. She sews, she does cross stitching. She does a really amazing sort of, she has such a vision. She's such an energetic visionary. My father, on the other hand, is more creative when it comes to building homes. He doesn't build as his profession, but it's his passion. He loves architecture and interior design. So I think the combo of those two facets really is what encouraged me to pursue the creativity. They didn't have a particular background as far as, you know, they grew up in communist Poland, so they didn't have the opportunities that many of us in the Western world have had, and I've been lucky enough to have. And I'm very grateful for that. And I've just been guided by the angels, if you want to call them, all of my life. And, yeah.
And now I believe you're no longer in the United States. You are back in Poland. What was that transition like? I mean, you were based in the United States all of your life, and now it looks like you're kind of going back to your roots, correct?
Yes, I'm going back to my roots. It's been a journey, because I was mostly in the New York area. I lived in Florida for a bit, and then back to New York, and then I moved to London for 5 years. So I had the amazing experience of living in London, and I met some incredible people there. And then I was essentially looking for a base that could also house my studio, because my pieces are quite large. So I wanted the space. I was searching for a place where I can have plenty of space to create, and Poland is wonderful. It's absolutely fantastic. I've loved the journey, and I've already met some amazing people in the arts community here in Poland, in Gdańsk. And I have to say, I'm quite excited. I'll be having an auction at the Sopocki Dom Aukcyjny. It's the Sopot Auction House in November 27th. So I hope to see you there.
Wonderful. I've been to Sopot. My husband, as I told you, is from Poland. So it was really exciting when I got to meet you, because I've been to certain parts of the country, and it is an exquisite place. Beautiful homes, large and spacious. So you certainly found yourself in the right place to continue your journey as an artist.
Yes.
So if I could take you back, let's imagine that time is an illusion and time doesn't exist.
Okay.
And I could teleport you back to that young girl who had this desire to draw, who just knew that this is what she was born to do. If you could go back and give her 3 nuggets of advice, what would you say to her? I'm asking this because there's a lot of creative people in the world who are fearful of their gifts, and they never even have the courage to try. What would your 3 nuggets of wisdom be to a potential artist out there who's listening to us tonight?
I think the number one is just keep creating. Keep creating as much as possible. And eventually, if you don't know what your path is, because I sort of changed stylistically sort of halfway through my career, because I was showing a different style at an earlier age. And then I really found that path sort of later in an artist's career, I would consider. But just keep creating as much as possible, and keep believing in what you're doing, no matter what anyone says. because, you know, the art world is a world that's full of imagination, and anything is really possible. So I highly encourage to believe in yourself, to have the confidence, and to keep just creating as much as you can.
Now, the technique that you use to create this realistic looking fabrics and veils, you know, I was looking very closely at your artwork, and I can almost feel like I can touch the texture. I can touch and feel the fabric just looking at a picture online. How long did it take you to develop that particular technique?
Well, really, I've been working on it all my life. You know, eventually you get to the point where I think most artists in my field, they get to the point where they can paint anything. So then the question is, what are you going to paint? And just the practice, the constant practice is what brought it to me. Obviously, studying old masters techniques, that was a very important step along the way. Yeah, and eventually I came to the point where I started to become more interested in texture. And so I'm using more impasto these days. I'm being more expressive with the veil, because the veil is really the abstract element within my work. Even though sometimes it's depicted realistically, I find it to be the abstract element because it can change shape, really.
It's exquisite. It's absolutely fascinating. Now,
Thank you.
what has been the biggest challenge throughout your career, and how have you managed to overcome?
I think the biggest challenge probably has been kind of making that leap of faith from the style of work that I was already showing to the veil work. Just I wasn't connecting with it, and so I was worried about how that would affect my audience. And so I think that was my biggest challenge. But I knew the direction I needed to go, so I had faith that it would be wonderful. And so I think that has been my biggest challenge as far as following my heart goes with my career path.
Now, how did your parents manage to keep your language alive, bringing you up in the United States? What was it like in your home? Most kids who are brought up in a foreign country lose their mother tongue. How did your parents manage to do this?
Yes, you cut out there for a second. I think it was challenging, to be honest, if I'm really honest, because I was the girl who brought kielbasa sandwiches to school, and everybody sat like 10 feet away from me because it was smelly. But maybe that's why I'm vegetarian today. No, I don't know. But no, it was challenging because we didn't really integrate with the culture so much. I think that's another thing that caused me to be quite hermited as a child. Yeah, no, it was challenging, but we spoke Polish at home sometimes. I don't have the best Polish skills. It's a very difficult language, but I'm happy that we did have some of the Polish culture within my home, and so now that I'm here in Poland, I feel quite at home with my roots.
That is absolutely awesome. So my last question for you is this. Again, if time was an illusion and I could teleport you into the future to the 100-year-old you sitting in your rocking chair with your dogs, your cats, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and you could have a conversation with that older woman based on how you are living your life and how you've lived your life, what would you say to her?
I would say thank you. I would say thank you, not just for her strength, but thank the generations that brought her here. It's very simple.
That's absolutely awesome. And she has guided you to get there. She is guiding you now. Thank you so much for coming online and gracing us with your presence today. And I'm hoping that whoever has tuned in today, you have gotten some little nuggets of wisdom if you're somebody who's creative. Practice, practice, practice your craft. They say that for a pianist to play the piano, they don't just sit down in front of that musical instrument and start to play. The same applies to your art. So if you're passionate about art, make it your vocation. Practice makes perfect. Thank you so much, Evelina. This has been absolutely wonderful sharing you with our community
Thank you,
tonight.
Gertrude.
And thank you to everybody who's tuned in. I will be
Thank
back
you.
again tomorrow with yet another fascinating guest. Have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Bye for now. Thank you, Evelina.
Evelina, wherever you are, you'll be watching the replay, I'm sure, at some point. Thank you so much for your share. And what I really, for me personally, gleaned out of that is that the importance of introspection, but being able to utilize some of your life events as the springboard for whatever your passion is and allowing that to grow. And introspection is a massive part of that whole process. And then that has just been a sustaining thing all these years. And I think, particularly in the creatives industry, to let that feel very real and sustainable is really powerful. So I really appreciate your share. And I have to say, I've been taking notes on Gertrude's questions. What a great way to glean so much out of that interview. I loved it. Yeah, great interviewer. Renee, you got something to add there?
Oh, most definitely. Just amazing. I've always been somebody who I think I'm not really big on zodiacs and stuff like that, but a lot of our signs, they attribute to our creativity. So I've always had creative nature. I may not be good necessarily at like painting. I may not be good at doing certain things. However, I'm always drawn or attracted to the arts of being creative. So just watching, looking at her artwork, just what made, and the fact being like I was just saying about this picture back there, you could look at it and get a totally different. Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey.
I
brought my girls in because I thought it'd be a great way to end today, but keep talking.
Oh, well, hey, girls. Nice to meet you. So,
keep going.
Just a matter of the way she said it too, that she doesn't really name her art or she doesn't do something to her art because it's however somebody perceives to look at it. Like I told you about this piece back here, that's my perception of it. But what you may see when you've seen it is something totally different. So the fact being that she embraces that and she allows that to be good in her art process, I'm amazed. I always envy people who can just pick up and pack up and leave and go to a whole nother country. I've thought about doing it. I'm not gonna say fear is what's holding me back, but I think it is a sense of fear because you wonder if you leave this country and then go try to start something somewhere else, what by chance, if something was to happen, where do you fail? Do I have enough resilience after everything I've been through, regardless, to move to another country and still be able to do what I do here? So it's a little nervous, but I've been talking about relocating to another country for a couple of years now. So listening to her just take up, even though she may have some type of root there with family or just because our parents was there, it just speaks volumes. So she's very encouraging and on so many levels. So.
And I think traversing across all the different experiences, all our different backgrounds, is that courage, tenacity, and really listening to that inner voice and letting that grow over time is a common thread with everybody, and that all of us have the power within to be able to transform and transmute so many things and use those experiences to create something really valuable out in the world. Yes,
ma'am. Saleha, do you have anything you want to add?
Oh my God, those drawings were amazing, weren't they? So yeah, I love what, again, for me, I was relating to like that unconscious, bringing that unconscious forward, and those deep, those inner thoughts and feelings, which I thought were really powerful. And I think, as a child, if we can really, I think it's really powerful when you, as a child, you can sort of look at your children and ask them to encourage their gifts, bring their gifts out and really empower them to bring their gifts out, which I think is can be a blessing if they've got the opportunity. I think with my children are creative, right? So from a very young age, I try to sort of allow them to just work on all those little creative gifts and keep working with them if that's what they wanted. Singing, I don't know, there's so many things that when you see children, you go like, yeah, that, like, keep doing that. And I think it's really powerful if we can show those gifts.
Most definitely.
Nice one. Nice one. Thank you, Saleha. And for today, that's a wrap from all of us. And I think that the stories that are shared today, I just have to say, such high value and a massive commitment from everyone to show up today. And I think it's quite poignant to be able to have Saleha, I saw your little human being in the background there. Your little one there. And I've got our three girls here. And I think we're all on the other side of working through a lot of stuff in our years. These guys are smack in the middle of their own stories. And we're all here sharing the wisdom. We're all hearing it. And I don't think my kids would have wanted to sit through all of today. But I think just at least being able to demonstrate that your story matters, whatever that is. It doesn't matter what, if you had the best upbringing in the world, if you had the crappiest upbringing, we've all got a shot at having a great life. But in the end, it's up to us to really create that. So for these guys that are smack in the middle, and whoever ends up watching this on the replay,
well, now they can go back and watch the replay and fast forward through the stuff they don't want to listen to.
Yeah. Look for the good bits. All righty. Thank you, everybody, for sharing today and for everybody turning up. And Gertrude has had to go and take her little grandson, I believe, for his immunisation jabs. So well done, her, for taking him on that one. And we'll all be here again tomorrow, same time, same
bad
place.
time. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Yeah, thank you, co-pilot Renee.
Oh, my pleasure. It's always an honor. It's a pleasure to meet all of you all. Can't wait till we all can be together in the same facility and meeting in person. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing your stories. And that's it, you guys. We'll close out today and we will see you all tomorrow. So from Her Story Circle, it's been a great day. And we look forward to talking to you again tomorrow and joining us in our story. So you all have a good night and God bless.
Beautiful. Thanks. Bye, everybody. What are we doing? Are we done now?
Huh?
Yeah.